So, Colette, you have some idea what's going down here?
I've been told generally speaking, and I have listened to the show, so
Okay. How
I'm
many of the 93 episodes have you listened to?
like maybe 5 and then
90?
parts of more.
Okay, so
90.
90.
No,
Okay.
I'm like the worst person in the world where I'm like, "Hey, I'm ready and willing to be on anyone's wrestling podcast," and I don't listen to any wrestling podcasts outside of like this one as of recent, and I used to listen to Virtual Pros. That was a good one.
Now, this is really rude to Orchid, but we really ruined it by having her on because she was the number 1 listener. Um,
Yeah, that's what
just
happens though.
just tanked our
That's how
listener
I got
viewership.
every job I ever had in wrestling. Like, I became an announcer at AIW because they wanted to stop me from chanting mean things at their wrestlers.
Nice.
Um, like, that's the secret. Like, you become the number 1 something, and then you get added to the team, and then they regret it because they miss your money.
I mean,
Ok
that's my story with violent people. That's why all the questions suck ass now.
Estamos estampillas tocando. Supposed to
You are now tuned in to your number one radio station. Violent people. Radio.
Okay, so let's get right into it. Violent People Radio, episode 94. We have the core four: Orchid, Chris, Pat, and myself, Dan Rice. On. We're joined by Colette. Colette, I want to get right into it because I have heard that you got on by being annoying in the crowd, which is the greatest thing in the world because that is how Chandler and John basically created the AIW by being annoying in crowds.
Yeah, I think Chandler in particular saw a kindred spirit in me. He was like a ruthlessly funny dude. One time, I was specifically hired back then, and by hired I mean invited back after my tryout match, which was I was the guest commentator for Sarah Del Rey versus Mickey Knuckles.
Oh god.
Um, which was great. Mickey
Yeah.
had yet to be the reason why promotions lost venues. Um, like she was still cool or whatever. But the like I did well enough that I was brought back, and Chandler said to me, we need like a women's wrestling expert, and I think that you could be our Lee Marshall. And I was like, wow, that's a really nice thing to say. And he was like, yeah, just like Lee Marshall, you probably don't know shit about women's wrestling, but it'll be nice to pretend. And he was right. That was basically my role. I went from chanting shit about how fat, not a shape Ricky Shane Page and Madman Pondo were in the crowd, to calling matches for a solid year and a half. It was a great time. All you got to do is just be annoying. People will pick you out. I think maybe how Hunk Tears decided to hire me for Fan Bite too, was like I was just an annoying person on Twitter talking shit about wrestling, but in a way that like vibed well. So
But that's how I got into AIW was I was at a different show and I despised Chandler.
oh
And
man,
then
really?
yeah, I was like well, because I was far enough away that, like, I wasn't getting the humor. All I hear is, like, the loud talking. Like, I'm on the other side of the barricade, so I'm just like, "I don't know who that guy is down there, but he won't shut the fuck up."
Yeah,
And then it's like, that's
Biggins
the
would
guy
run
that
his fucking
runs
mouth.
AIW. And then
Mhm.
if you sit next to him, he is very, very funny at the when he's ruining other wrestling shows.
He's
But
so yeah.
that just I when you said that, I had to jump on it because I was like, that's how I, like, helped one of the ways I discovered it is I'm like, "This guy fucking loud."
I mean, R.I.P. Chandler. He like I think that like a lot of people maybe don't know. I feel like, you know, this is definitely some homerism, but I think AIW was like one of the best promotions going for a while in like the 2010s, and a lot of it had to do with like Chandler's vision and like nose for talent, and you know his and Thorne's willingness to like try stuff on a much more shoestring budget than other so-called super indies of the time. So yeah,
Listen,
like
you came to the right place to be an AIW homer. You can praise AIW and MLW here all day.
I don't know anything about MLW. I
Just
do
assume
know
it's
a
great.
fair amount about Southern Fried Championship Wrestling.
The
But
guy
Oh
that
well,
likes
we
that
fired
song,
the
he
guy who
died.
likes
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
So
oh
he's dead.
damn, what
Yeah,
what
we killed him.
happened?
Yeah, Sam's dead.
Damn. I mean, I know about Southern Fred from my time attending shows, where I was mostly taking creep shots of Scott Hall while he was taking creep shots of other people in the crowd.
I can't remember. I can't remember which Chikara show it was, but there's some random Chikara show where Teddy Hart was in the audience, and I'm there. I'm just taking all these pictures of him, and I'm like, Teddy Hart is for some reason sitting in the third row of with his cat, and everyone is acting like it's normal.
I bet that dude had the most insipid 30-minute meeting with Mike Quackenbush about trying to get booked for like King of Trios weekend or something. Like him and his two cats versus the spectral envoy was probably the pitch.
Okay, I don't hate that, but
Sending Ultramanus Black into battle against a cat would be choice. Save
Oh,
that
it
one
could be
for a
worse. They
Wrestling is
could
Fun
said
show.
could be Hollow Wicked versus his dead girlfriend.
Oh my god.
Oh, there he
Shit.
goes. Yep. Welcome to Pat.
alleged.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Alleged girlfriend, yeah.
I believe Pat, you recently cracked the case, and at least we know that Maria Manic is alive and well alive.
Yeah, no, another friend of mine, because we used to, my friends from the Wrestling Observer Board and I used to follow their daily blogs where it was just 50 minutes of meth rambling. And it came up like, what happened to Maria Manic? And one of them found her, and she was on like a female bodybuilder site where you can pay money to have Maria Manic like pick you up and step on you and whatever you want. Um, but she seems to have left wrestling far behind for something much more wholesome.
As we try to get more into the normal format of the show, I do have to quickly ask Colette: do you still follow AIW, and why are you lying?
The answer is no,
Okay, good.
which is not a lie. I just fell off like the way that you fall off with a lot of stuff. I think the last show that I got to go to was the J-Lit that Buff Bagwell was in. So that would have been like 2014, and I don't know, like I kind of fell out of the indies and a lot of wrestling really like until 2019, 2020 or so, which makes me sound like a huge like baby in the sense where it's like, oh, what got you back into wrestling? And it was like, well, I got hired to run out, like to contribute to a website, and AIW, or not AIW, AEW was new on the scene. So it was like, all right, I guess like we'll see what happens. But I think that like once I went to Georgia for grad school and was too far away from my friends in Cleveland, it just didn't hit the same. Like, you know, it's one of those things where like when you're not behind the desk or like producing promos or whatever, and like not part of the booking conversation, like that's all like kind of an essential component of the thing after a while. And like once that wasn't there, it was like just kind of tough to like keep watching because I wasn't as invested in it like personally, which you know, I'm happy as hell that they're still running and impressed that they keep finding ways to do so despite like you know various troubles with like streaming partner provider type things or whatever.
Well, the
I
way
don't
they
know
do it
anything
is
about
by exclusively using
YouTube
students.
now, right?
Well, I was no, yeah, YouTube. I was saying it's just almost exclusively a student company at this point. It feels like. I mean,
Yeah, they
Touchstone
made that
on top.
change kind of a while ago though, right? Like they started
Yeah,
doing it so that it was like mostly locals and
in
like they'd have
Poland.
like a signing appearance by like The Godfather or like Ted DiBiase or whatever,
Yeah,
which
for
is
sure.
smart.
I moved away and it also fell off, and it's almost like how much of that is just because I'm not there, so I think it
Yeah.
sucks now. But also
I
I think it
mean,
Most
kinda
of it.
sucks now. Yeah.
they
Most of it.
have a good trainer. Like Dominic Garini's like probably who you would want to run like a training school. So like I figure they're probably doing all right.
All right. But we do have to do the part of the show that the fans have spoken and they love it. But the only thing the hosts talk about when we're not doing the podcast is how these motherfuckers cannot talk about the wrestling they've been watching. But Pat, tell me about the wrestling you're watching. The fans have spoken. They
All
want to
right,
hear
so
about it.
if you want to know about the wrestling I've been watching, you're gonna have to
Yes.
listen to Pork's new project, because all I've watched this week has been stuff that will be discussed on the first episode of Pork's Violent People Labs, or I don't know if he's posting on his blog or some new Pork podcast. Um,
That
Worn
was
out tapes or
yeah, so
blown out assholes or
that was
something.
almost a good plug.
It's a tremendous plug.
Yeah, it started off so seamless as a good plug, and then it
It
really
was
went downhill.
it was really
No, yeah,
strong.
no,
Yeah.
you can tell how hard I'm working at this. No, but I have watched a series of matches that will be discussed, and if you want to know the series of matches, you will have to eventually look at our Twitter, which will probably show what it is without you having to listen.
Okay. Well, that was easy enough. Chris, what about
See,
you?
the thing is, I wanted Sam to get me that fucking ad copy, and then I could have just said that. And, you know, he had to fuck the whole thing up. He's not
Listen,
even on the show anymore, and
if
he still
Sam
fucks
was
it up.
if Sam was good at his job, he'd be on the show.
That's true.
Yeah. There's a reason he's gone. Outside of his death. Now, Chris, you said that
Allegedly.
you've watched quite a bit of wrestling because you have nothing else going on.
Yeah, I have not had anything that is extremely time consuming
Uh-uh.
for the past few weeks, which is why I was so talkative last week as well. I watched one match this week. On the weekend, I had some free time and I was just uh, like gave myself a few days off from posting VP 100 posts. So I was just like, maybe I'm in the mood to watch some wrestling. And I was in the mood to watch exactly one match. And it was the match that was discussed in great detail last week. It was the Loco wrestling match between Lil Sicko and Nino Extremo. And
You guys know it's Nino, right?
No. But yeah,
He's the extreme boy, Nino Extremo.
Nino Extremo. And
I think it's Extremo in Spanish, but yeah.
And so I greatly enjoyed that match. It was a ton of fun. I definitely is like the novelty is definitely like partially due to how it's filmed with that guy with the actual 90s camcorder, giving it like a unique style of filming. Can clearly film a wrestling match better than people who do it at a professional level, which is very much appreciated. It would still be a really fun death match, even if it was just some shitty Loco hard cam footage that you can see on the Title Match Network or whatever. But it is shot very well and just a blast to watch. I understand why it's making the rounds. It's something unique. Lil Sicko is like a known commodity in deathmatch circles, but Nino Extremo is not as much. I had never seen him before. It seemed, I don't know where the hell he works other than Loco, if he's like hidden up deep south or whatever. But
It appears to just be Loco right now, I think.
maybe
No, he was on Deep South's last few shows, I think. He had the
Oh, was
Necro
he?
match.
Never mind. Oh, he did. Yeah, wait, he had the Necro match? I thought that was Sicko that had the Necro match.
Oh, no, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
My
okay.
brain's playing tricks on me, sorry.
it's like if this guy wrestled Necro, I would have known.
Yeah.
He did wrestle Mickey Knuckles.
Oh, there we go.
Judging by his Instagram username, he is a local Houston guy.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. But yeah, fun match. You guys talked about it last week. I'm not gonna go into more detail, but I am yet another soldier of that match. Very fun.
All right. Glad to hear.
Well, Orchid, you were literally watching matches as we started recording this, so I know you've watched something.
I was? Was I watching matches?
You were watching something on your phone. What were you watching on your phone?
Oh, yeah, I was just on Instagram. But no, I was
Oh.
watching matches up until the minute before I hopped on this call. And yeah, I regrettably watched a lot more wrestling than I thought I did when I said I didn't watch a lot of wrestling. So I guess I will be rambling for a while. But before I do that, I need to call out Pat. You did watch more than just whatever you talked to Podrick about. Because you not recommended, but you gave me a little bit of feedback about Slade and Kid Bandit.
Oh yeah, I forgot that match happened.
Yeah, I did not because
let's talk about that for about an hour.
I probably could, to be honest.
Yeah,
after AEW last night, which it was one of the worst fucking episodes of wrestling television I've ever seen. Anytime you could listen to Kenny Omega talk about, I don't know what the fuck he was talking about for 35 minutes, quite literally 35 minutes. You got to take advantage of that. But as soon as that was over, I told my wife that I needed to show her Slade, largely because of you having her as her God Slade. Slade is a trans woman. Anyway,
that's Slade Cargill. That's the Slade Cargill con. So on the OGP server, it was Slade Cargill versus Gabe Kid Bandit.
Oh man, that's filling some seats, probably for me. But yeah, fun match. Showed it to my wife. It was her first introduction to Slade. She's seen Kid Bandit before, I think, in DPW. She really enjoyed Slade. Thought he was hilarious. Really, I think like one of the first episodes that I was on here, Pat, I asked you if like Slade had any comedy matches, and to me, this is the first one I saw, and that could be classified as that. And oh man, what a delight. That one sequence where she was doing whatever the fuck she was doing with that stick, and he just fucking punched her square in the face was gold. Do you have anything else you thought about that match? It was long.
It was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. When they announced it, I thought it was going to be like in and out in under 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was going to be a drubbing where somehow no one took a pinfall. Because Slade is one of my favorites right now, outside of the world of Lucha Libre, at finding ways to end matches without pins. But he gave Kid Bandit a lot more than I think anyone on planet Earth thought Slade would ever consider giving. Like, this was a 50-50 match, you know.
It was.
And I'm sure he told Kid Bandit, like, backstage, like, lay in your kick, like, just fucking kick me. Because Kid Bandit looked better than usual, and I think a lot of it was down to Kid Bandit actually kicking him.
Was this Kid Bandit's farewell match?
No, that's happening on Big Gay Brunch.
Oh, okay.
She's doing a couple matches Mania week.
She's planning on coming back later in the year, I imagine.
Oh yeah. Okay. I mean, this is what, like, retirement number 8.
I was gonna say this is not her first farewell.
I will be saying goodbye to both her, Brunch and Gayness at that show, personally.
But not Effie.
Not Effie. Can't quit that Effie. Yeah, no, it was funny that. Get Pat.
Oh no, one of the things that I think made the match is that it was not a crowd that was pro Slade.
Yeah.
They were booing the shit out of him because I don't know. In my head, I just kind of assumed like an LA crowd that was rabidly pro Kid Bandit. I'm like, Oh, okay. These are all Hood Slam regulars. I have no idea if Kid Bandit works Hood Slam, but it would be kind of insane to me if she doesn't. But they were rabidly pro Kid Bandit. Nick H, who used to work with TNT in England, he was there for the show, and there was a guy who was standing for the entire match to watch it. And as they were dragging Kid Bandit's lifeless body out, he like tried to touch her hand like she was Jesus or something. You know, this was a crowd that wanted Kid Bandit's weird anime stuff to work. And that really, I still don't think it worked because I just can't buy into it. But it came off a lot better than, like if it was a rabidly pro Slade crowd and they were there to just like dunk on Kid Bandit for being a weirdo.
Yeah, you're being much politer to Kid Bandit than I would have planned on being. The minute she brought out that thing
Well, because
from
you can do it. If I do it, it's a hate crime and everyone gets
That's
upset.
a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, the minute she brought out the thing from the key from Kingdom Hearts that was wrapped in
Yeah.
barbed wire,
Yeah.
and then I heard quote, Donald and Goofy would be proud. I really was questioning a lot of life decisions. So if I seem grumpy today, it's largely because of that line of dialogue.
I think
Um,
Donald would be. I don't think Goofy would be.
that's true. Goofy would be pretty good in a death match. But yeah, other things I watched, to pander to hosts, I did watch, Kevin Steen and Super Dragon from PWG Astonishing, Christmas, in 2005, which was was that last week you and Joseph covered that
Yeah,
for
that
Big
was
Egg?
last week's Big Egg match.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which is it's pretty
had
okay.
read your review, haven't read Joseph's yet or your collaborative portion. I think Joseph was low on it too, though. Not low, but like he didn't go. He was lower. Like I think he gave it a 3. You gave it 3.5. Is
Nah,
that
he gave it a
right?
4. He gave it a
He gave it
4.
a 4.
Yeah, he
Interesting.
gave it a 4.
Interesting. Interesting. I lean more with you. I watched the match before I read your article. That's typically how I like to engage with Big Egg. Just to kind of like see like where I'm at with both of y'all. Um, my view on that, to me, I remain fascinated that um, Super Dragon made the VP Hall of Fame. Not because I don't think he rocks. I absolutely fucking think he does. But he's somebody who like I largely associate with vibes and violence more than I do ring psychology or match structure. I don't know if this is true or not, but Chris, you could kick me in the head as hard as you want if you disagree with this. But and I don't know, y'all are more experts in this than I would be, but I've always kind of associated like Super Dragon as like one of those like highly like gift wrestlers that folks like engage more with like the gifts in the actual match. Am I wrong in that, or I very well could be?
I think yes and no. Definitely the newer people who have found their way to Super Dragon is probably mostly through clips and gifs.
Got it. And Chris, are you plotting my
Yeah,
murder right
yeah.
now?
No, I think that's fair. I think a lot of the super like modern Super Dragon fandom uh like does engage with him at least on some part as like the guy they know from gifts.
Mm.
Because I mean, PWG is one of the original gift promotions,
Yeah.
so that's kind of a natural thing. But I mean, Super Dragons like fans from the indies at the time, where that's during my dead zone, so that wasn't me, but like going back and reading and like talking to people who were there is definitely like, no, he is known for like the matches and not just like cool spots, but like the cool spots are fucking cool.
Yeah.
But he has always had like people say, no, this guy's one of the best in the world at like having matches.
I feel like I might just I haven't watched a whole lot of Super Dragon. This is probably like my 4th or 5th match total. The one memorable one that like sticks out to me is the low key one. I really fucking love that match, even if it's still kind of a hot mess. But yeah, I feel like I probably just haven't watched the right Super Dragon matches. Maybe that's something I should do for the rest of the month if I plan on doing a GWE ballot. Sorry for bringing that up. But
That's your deep dive is Super Dragon. That's it.
maybe,
I'm studying
maybe.
Super Dragon
I
for
think
my ballot.
if you're going to do a deep dive on Super Dragon, embracing the hot mess is kind of necessary.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell that. Yeah. And I don't mind the hot mess. I think the matches of his that I've watched that I do mind is that they do trickle on the long side. And I think like Clint, you kind of talked about it. There's like more of a scaffolding of a good match, but there's not actually one there yet. A lot of cool shit. Um,
It's so close. Like, for me, the issue with that
yeah,
match, not to just, like, repeat what I've said about it elsewhere, is that, like, the first 3 minutes of it feels so free and so loose and so, like, kind of as close
yeah,
to real as, like, indie wrestling gets, which, like, feels like a really stupid metric to apply to wrestling. Like, when people talk about, like, realism or immersion in wrestling, I think that they're mostly, uh like, looking for at wrestling for all the wrong reasons, but, like, 2 dudes who hate each other, like, just stomping through all the chairs in the arena while, like, all of the fans there, like, get out of their fucking way, and then they just start, like, throwing shit and, like, damaging property, and, like, one of the dudes who's damaging the property is, like, is one of the owners of the promotion, feels so, like, I don't know, like, uncooperative and, like, low-key hateful that, like, it felt like an entirely different kind of indie wrestling, and then it just became an indie wrestling match from
yeah.
2005 after that, and I've
Com-
seen that so many times, and, um, some examples are better than others, and, I think that the other thing about it is just that, like, its influences, particularly, like, the WWE hardcore stuff are just, like, way, way too on everyone's
yeah,
sleeve, which is, funny considering that that probably came from, like, Kevin Steen, who's not wearing sleeves, but
yeah. I think the thing that I left that match thinking, and I feel this way after when I watch a lot of like that era of PWG specifically, is it seems like they're on the verge of doing something special, but
yeah.
they haven't quite figured out exactly like how to make something special quite yet. What you said about Steen too, just like the pure hatred thing. That's a thing that I always like. I fell in love with Steen before he made it to NXT, like barely. That was like right around the time I was like getting into wrestling again after like putting it away for like 15 years. Was just how clearly he just exhibited fucking hating people. So it
Yeah.
was cool seeing him do that in this match. Liked it a lot.
See,
Yeah, I'd recommend it.
I think my opinion on Super Dragons, I think it's probably wrong, but, like, when I think of all my Super Dragon favorite moments, it's non-PWG stuff,
Mm,
but that's just because PWG probably didn't speak to me as much, but, like, I like Super Dragon and, like,
CZW.
CZW, yeah, like,
Yeah.
the best of the best
XPW.
four way, the early XPW stuff, that Loki match, I think that's, some Southern California indie name I can't think of. I mean, those are all the ones that the IWA Mid-South stuff,
I think
and
it's IWA actually. Yeah.
but most of those and it's like but, like, how much of that is just a function of I like all those promotion more than I like PWG, but
Right.
those are all
Right.
things I think of.
No, that was Millennium Pro Wrestling. My bad.
Shout out to Gary Yap. I think he the Millennium guy, or was he Epic?
There's no owner listed, so I'm gonna go ahead and say absolutely.
Okay.
That or Sam, one or the other. But yeah, cool match. Definitely check out the convo with that Colette had with Joseph. If you haven't read any of those, you're, in my opinion, missing out. Those are some of my two favorite writers talking about some of the most fun wrestling. Y'all did Terry Funk matches this week too, is that right?
Terry Funk is a bonus. In
Sick.
December, I said that I was gonna write 31 essays in 31 days, and then I didn't. So I'm catching up now. Um,
You never do something like
hey,
that.
hey,
I
'cause you've known me
I
longer than
think
most. Isn't that's not fair.
no,
Love
I
you,
think in
girly.
doing that you have captured the spirit of fans who want to write about wrestling.
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah.
sums up
Yeah.
the community more than declaring that you will write 31 essays in 31 days and then doing 3.
And then, well, I mean, in fairness to me, I think I did like 11, and it was a busy month, and I like, the project kept getting bigger. I was like, well, what if instead of doing one Cactus Jack match versus Vader match, I did all of them? The Terry Funk match that I wrote about was supposed to just be about his match against Rick Martel from Puerto Rico, but
Instead, you
I
wrote
was
a novel.
Yeah, instead I wrote a novel about Terry Funk's weekend in Puerto Rico, which included Barry Windham and Carlos Colon. You know, like that's one of those things that you do when you have a paywall. Though technically that essay is free. All I require in return is your email address. Um, which is a fair return. Again, it is a novel. It's a lot, and I kind of lose my mind about Terry Funk a little bit because like he does a lot of his like weird little Terry Funk magical tricks that like escalate over the course of the weekend. It was like each match was like filmed the night, like was filmed to air the day after in order to hype up the next show. So like you know, by the end of like match 2, Terry Funk is like slapping around Hugo Savinovich and being like, "You're a pig farmer, you pig!" Like just like slapping the shit out of him. And it's the best shit you've ever seen. And then Carly Cullen wins with like a fucking small package, pissing me the fuck off. Which someday I'll come around and figure out Carlos Colon, but yeah, Terry Funk, a lot of good Terry Funk going on. But no one asked me what I watched. I watched Lord Alfred Hayes matches this week.
We will get to you.
Okay.
The other things I've watched, I watched CMLL, both shows, including the 83rd anniversary show on Saturday. I don't always watch Saturday shows, but I did enjoy the fuck out of this one. We'll talk about this when we talk about Colette Zine, but one of the things that she said was that well, I'll wait till we get to that portion, but I think when it comes to CMLL, the thing I just really appreciate about it is that they're consistently achieving a compelling display of the elemental beauty of wrestling, which is reaching for some sort of truth. Now, whatever that means to you, I guess we'll get to shortly. But I just think it's wrestling stripped down to the studs. I didn't really get it for a long time, but like once you find yourself into the rhythms of it and like kind of realize what I'm watching this week matters for this week, it might matter next week, but it might not. There's just something just so beautiful about how it just kind of like really just makes you narrow your focus in. I really feel like you're a better wrestling fan for watching CMLL. I'm a year late on this. Y'all were talking about this on the podcast like probably a year ago from today. But it's still just like really, really honing and keeping me like focused on wrestling. And I don't know, every time I see Mystico, I just keep thinking this guy, somebody I just did not entirely get until I started watching him wrestle in Arena Mexico and Arena Calcio. The three-way with him and Soberano Jr. and El Clone, lots of fun. Not the best match from any of those three guys you'll see this year. Actually, maybe it is Soberano so far, but fun, great, and I'm very excited for Mystico and Hechicero this week, which will be really interesting to see how that operates in front of a Vegas crowd. Yeah, and then I did watch more wrestling. The one thing that I just don't really want to talk about it unless Dan forces me to. But the one thing that I will say is that if I do complain on Twitter about there being a lot of good but not great matches, for love everything fucking holy, please don't recommend the Miles DeVille and El Phantasmo match to me, especially if it goes 20 minutes. I don't care if Sinner and Cena are there. I don't really want a part of that. I was so much nicer to this person on Twitter. Wasn't that bad of a match, but yeah, just please read the room.
That's a crazy recommendation.
Yeah,
I like that match. I like that match.
It was good. I liked it.
But to say
what I'm
like you
saying,
get to see some great wrestling, that's not even the best match on that show.
What
So
is
was
the best
that,
match on that show?
Nicole Matthews, Ricky South.
Oh fuck yeah. Okay.
I was going to say that really seems like the sort of recommendation we often see on the Discord from someone who I'm not going to name. I'm just going to say that their name rhymes with Beatty Barker. That kind of just, well, you're looking for a great match. Here's like, and then it might as well just be like a generative Markov chain.
It's just whatever the most recent match they watched is.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the vibe
I loved when I posted RIP the Berwyn Eagles Club and she replied with like, the Berwyn Eagles Club is back. Just like, you know, it's like interacting with a chat bot.
We have we've talked about the what have you watched lately the hosts don't like it. It goes on 4 hours, yada, yada, yada. And having said that, when I watched that match, I didn't include it in the 4-hour segment of where we talk about what we watched. And I just had nothing to say about it. I was like, yeah, it's fine. Everyone knows I like Sinner and Saint.
That's best you could say about that match.
Yeah.
That they're there.
I want to talk about, somehow I feel like, I don't know if I've had a fever dream and I missed this, that this was available, because I know we talked about it before it happened. I know it was like, in the news a lot, but I don't remember anyone discussing the Onita Yaguchi versus Nishimura and Dory Funk Jr. match. Have any of you guys seen this?
No.
From 2024, the Onita 50th anniversary match. Dory's there, for Terry. Dory is, I think, 178 years old. Someone could
Was
fact
this
check
the
that.
exploding one?
The exploding one. I
Yep.
just now
Yeah,
watched it.
I've seen bits of that. I haven't seen the whole match.
It's fucking insane. Everyone should watch it.
Does Dory take a
okay.
bomb?
Dory can't move. This is not like a joke. Dory did not take a bump. There's a fifth man in the match, whose name I don't know, whose job is keep Dory Funk Jr. alive. There's an unnamed man who literally spends most of the match on his knees so Dory Funk can hold on to him and not fall over. Dory Funk never sits on the outside of the ropes to tag in and out, because I don't think he can get in and out of the ropes that easily. There's one point where Dory's in there. I think he's I don't remember if it's Yaguchi or Nonita, but he's getting cranking his arm or throwing little punches at him, but then he's like decides it's time to tag out the Nishimura, the workhorse of the man who was dying of cancer at the time. And he goes to tag him out, but then he kind of just wanders near the exploding ropes, and the unnamed fifth man goes, "Don't touch, don't touch, don't touch, don't touch, don't touch." And it's all caught on like audio. You can hear it louder than everything.
It's awesome that Dory Funk Jr. is essentially Yoshihiko.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but
There's a guy in a black suit standing behind him, like manipulating his limbs.
they move him out of the way. When he takes, I say he doesn't take a bump. He does take an exploding baseball bat to the back, but he doesn't, like, he tenses up and then does not move at all. Doesn't sell it, just stands there like, I survived that. Okay. The rest of these guys, I mean, they're bumping their ass off. There is a great moment where Nishimura hits Yaguchi in the knee with an exploding barbed wire baseball bat to set up Dory Funk doing the spinning toe hold. And I thought that was fucking beautiful. He can't really do it. It takes him a really long time to step over, and once he gets it in, he can't like do the repeated step over. He just kind of cranks it. And then Nishimura has to go and actually do a spinning toe hold right after. But I thought that was like a pretty inspired spot to see old man Dory Funk try to do a spinning toe hold. And then after the match is over, he says, "Never give up, forever, 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 forever." Just beautiful shit. Yeah, like I said, I was so hyped about that match before it happened, and then I guess I just missed when it dropped because Mike put it up on his YouTube, and it's definitely worth a watch. Other stuff I watched, in the continual Gangrel as the CCW champion, as the ace, he faced
Hell yeah, let's go.
Madman Fulton. No, I got bad things to say about this.
Oh,
I hate it because I want to be honest though, because I want to be an ethical Gangrel supporter, because he's going to be fucking on my VP 100. He's going to be high up. But this match, one, Gangrel's getting a little tired. You can tell because, like, I always want to talk about Gangrel's punches. At the end of the match, like, there's a lot of air, there's a lot of huffing and puffing. But then it picks back up, and the fucking video cuts out. The video cuts out with Gangrel spitting blood in Madman Fulton's face, dragging him back in the ring. And I think going to the finish, I'll never know because the video file just ends. It's 2 hours and 47 minutes long. And it's just fucking done. They have the rest of the show, and then you don't get to see the finish to the CCW heavyweight title match, which Cage Match tells me Gangrel won. I have no way to confirm or deny that.
Have you messaged Gangrel?
I did not message Gangrel yet, but I post a comment like, "Hey, what's up?" They haven't responded yet.
Good luck.
Somehow a match that took place like, I don't know, 12 minutes from my front door seemed to break containment from Big Time Pro Wrestling. Madman Pondo versus Shane Douglas in a first blood match.
Is there a full video of that? I looked and I couldn't find.
I
It is
can't
now.
wait.
Yeah, I can send it. There, it's the full
Okay.
shows on video.
Thank you.
Well, if you're gonna watch it, I don't even really want to talk about. I'll just say it's a walk and brawl with Madman and Douglas.
No, sell me on it, baby.
Yeah, please.
They're both
go ahead and
so
spoil
tired.
it.
And what I'm gonna tell you is, I'm not gonna tell you the finish, but I'm gonna tell you the finish is fucking beautiful. The finish is so good. I like Shane does the thing where he's always selling that like his hand hurts or he's tired and needs to sit down, and I'm like, I think his hand hurts and he's tired and needs to sit down, but like he sells it, so that's good. This show is from Big Time Pro Wrestling. It's run by this guy Freddie Cornell, I think his last name is, and he seems like a really nice guy, but these shows are always shit shows. This one went to have gone together more than usual. I will say I feel bad because I won a 50-50 raffle at one of his shows and got like a preposterous amount of money. Like not too much, but like I got like $300 or something, which like I don't know why this 50-50 raffle was that high. And there's no way I've spent $300 on his promotion, like because the tickets are $15 and I don't go to them usually. This one was 12 minutes from my house and I couldn't be bothered to go. What really hurt my feelings is the next day, Shane Douglas and Sheepherder Luke were at a Mexican restaurant I like in town, meeting fans.
Oh,
But it was Easter Sunday. And I could not convince everyone to forget the Easter dinner and drive over to Huntington and have some Mexican food. But
It's time to get a new family, man.
yeah.
it's like, hey, this is taking place at what I would call the 5th best Mexican restaurant in the Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia tri-state.
Now, do we know Shane Douglas is a fan of competitive cheerleading?
I don't know, but I know Shane Douglas would pretend to be if I talked to him about it.
That's fair. That's
Like
fair.
like in a nice way.
Yeah.
Every time I talk to Shane Douglas, he talks to people too. He's just a nice guy. Every time I met him around here, he is. I don't know. I'm assuming he still lives in Pennsylvania, but actually I have no idea. But he is somehow a local at all of the promotions around here. But I don't think he lives that close to here. Besides that, I watched a bunch of people in Discord talking about the best WWE TV match of all time. And so I watched Cena Punk, Regal Benoit, and then I watched what was my contribution, which is DX and the Radicals versus Foley, The Rock, and Too Cool. And
I think of all the ones people named, you came the closest to a definitive correct answer.
I was going to say,
by the
I
way.
watched all 3 of those, and I can tell you as much. I mean, Regal Benoit is like my shit. Like I talk about like Regal Benoit Finley, like those combos were like my favorite things in the world. But my answer was the right answer. That match is fucking incredible. The one thing from it, I feel like most people have seen it or know about it. The one thing that's incredible is Dean Malenko. I never would have thought I would have called him out, but he's phenomenal in the match. Like he's on the apron, just selling the shit out of everything. Anytime someone on his team gets punched, he's fucking taking bumps on the apron over it. Like he is so good. Everyone's so good. The crowd is maybe the best crowd ever in a wrestling match. I'm not a guy that cares as much about crowds as some people do, but for this match, it carries it. Everyone looks great. The post-match angle with Kane coming out and killing everyone is like the coolest Kane's ever looked. So that's the best match in WWE TV history. It's been decided. And that takes us to our special guest, Colette. I would like you to tell me every match you've watched since the first episode you've ever listened to VPR.
Well,
Which might have been this afternoon, so that's okay.
I was gonna say it won't be that long because I've like recently fallen in love with Iron Chef, so all of my wrestling watching comes around random episodes of that.
Oh, yeah.
which is basically wrestling Iron Chef. But
The
yeah,
original,
no,
correct?
what's that?
The original Iron Chef?
Yeah, the original
Oh, okay,
with the American dub, which is great. Like I love that the American dub tries very hard to come across like a real, like it doesn't want to be a kung fu movie or like Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. It wants to be serious, but it's also a cooking show where like the panelists are saying very dumb things, so they're trying to be like, I think that's star anise, and then like someone will be like, no, that's actually an orange, and then they'll just be like, and it's very serious. They try to be nice about it in the dub,
Every
which is
small
nice.
Japanese pop star they bring onto the panel, I think has never even seen food before.
It's so funny. They bring on like the members of like Japanese Senate, but not like Atsushi Onita or Great Sasuke, which is too bad.
Yeah, they try to
Um,
fuck the food.
um, uh, yeah, yeah. I think you're right. So yeah, all the wrestling I've watched in the last 5 weeks since I started listening would be a lot of Lord Alfred Hayes. I recently decided to fuck with Lord Alfred Hayes. He's my new project guy because I think that people have started to respond too positively to notions like Lex Luger was good and Hacksaw Jim Duggan is one of the best ever. Like all verifiable truths, but I need someone with a minimum of footage to start claiming was great. And I think that's going to be Lord Alfred Hayes. So I watched him call the Crusher a day laborer, which was amazing.
Wait a
And
minute. Wait, I got a question though. Wait, because you are firmly into Lex Luger as good camp. Is your problem that too many people are hopping on the bandwagon with
I
you?
think so. This happens to me.
Yeah, yes, it does.
It happens to me. No one's followed me down the Toriano rabbit hole yet, which is great.
Oh
And I
no,
think
I'm.
Yeah,
I'll
Wait,
say you're on the
is your
phone with him right
thesis
now.
that Toru Yano is one of the best ever?
yeah,
yeah,
no, it
well,
was the greatest
podcast.
of all
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
I've been at the bottom of the hole with you on that one for ages. I
Okay,
still think
perfect.
he should have been Tanahashi's final opponent.
I think so too.
Some people
Honestly.
say he's the 31st best wrestler of all time.
Well,
I'm
I
not gonna
was
say
like,
who that
I
is.
can't remember.
a
I can't
higher
remember if you're
position.
calling me out or not. I
I am
don't
100.
remember
That is
my own
100% from
list.
your GWE list.
Okay, yeah, no, the GWE ballot, which no is secret. I
Well,
shared it in
he's
confidence
The
he's
other
not even
with my
99 are
nominated
secret.
co-hosts.
though. He's not nominated, which is a shame. So, like, I was shocked. The most shocking wrestler that I was ever like, I felt like the only fan of who is now like people like her is Nikki Bella. So I feel like I need to come up with like either guys who don't have enough footage or like people who are like assholes. So like this year I'm going all in on Alfred Hayes and Buff Bagwell. I mean, I've been in on Buff Bagwell for a while, but I've been rewatching a lot of old Nitros lately, and I've really been fucking with like 96, 97 Buff Bagwell. He's amazing as a face and a heel. He's really like the best American tag team wrestler of the 1990s, I think. Um, I haven't seen a lot of American tag team wrestling from the 1990s because there's
It's
not a
pretty
lot
much
of
all guys like Buff Bagwell.
yeah, and he's the best. He's the stuff of that group. So yeah, I've watched some Lord Alfred Hayes, as Orchid mentioned earlier. Over on Big Egg, I've been watching Kevin Steen and Super Dragon, and also a bunch of Terry Funk and like a lot of other stuff. I've been trying to write a little bit about Lucha Underground, but reacquainting myself to the editing and commentary of that show has been kind of awful. Like I wanted to rewatch some of Rey Mysterio's stuff from that period, particularly his match against I guess Ricochet. Not to unmask him, but there's that one. I showed my boyfriend Macho Man Randy Savage versus Ric Flair from Bash at the Beach '95, whichever one the Baywatch girls were at, '94. Um, I've been watching a lot of Coliseum home videotapes lately, because I have a lot of Coliseum home videotapes. So, most recent ones I watched were the Hacksaw Jim Duggan tape, um, which is great because it's all about how Hacksaw Jim Duggan loves the United States of America. He marches around in front of the American flag, and it's all of his matches against like Russians and Iranians and other foreign people, and then he yells at Brother Love a lot. Highly recommend the Hacksaw Jim Duggan tape, particularly if you want to see some of like the most bloodless like country honor brawls of all time. They're all there waiting for you. And I think that like probably the most exciting new thing that I've watched recently was a best 2 out of 3 falls match from Portland Wrestling, where it is Roddy Piper and Rick Martel facing off against the Sheep Herders of Butch and Luke. Um, it's just a lot of fun. Like, you know, I feel like this is common knowledge for anyone who is familiar with both early 90s WWF and points before that. But the Bushwhackers are actually uh, an exceptional tag team of the like stinky boys milieu, like guys that you can see like scent lines coming off of.
Yeah.
It's really the best kind of tag team ever. Like the only bad one that I can think of is like the Dudley Boys, really. Um, and the rest of those teams are all sick, but like the Bushwhackers, their best stuff is like just buried because it's all territory era footage, and that's tough to come by. So seeing them as scowling, menacing heels, and seeing Roddy Piper and Rick Martel as the baby faces across from them is like kind of a head fuck if you're familiar with the work of either of those two. And it's a lot of fun. Like because Piper was astonishing in the early 80s, and Rick Martel is an extremely underrated guy. Um, and yeah, like I would say that like of the stuff I've watched this week, the best would be that match, Terry Funk versus Barry Windham, which you should definitely watch, if only for the moment where Terry Funk launches a chair from like 15 yards out and Barry Windham catches it one handed. It's amazing. And yeah, watch some Lord Alfred Hayes promos. They're awesome, and his match against Bobby Heenan is really good. And yeah, everyone should fuck with Lord Alfred Hayes. He's the voice of promotional considerations, and he is also staunchly against you know, middle class blue collar men like Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher, and you know, every other masked hooligan in the Midwest. He's amazing.
All
Okay,
right.
I did check. I did have Toriano at number 31.
I wasn't
31 is
lying.
that's we can get him higher. Also, I hear that that disqualifies your ballot. I don't understand how the rules work. But my vote for Buff Bagwell must be registered, so I'm playing strictly by GWE rules whenever I do put together a ballot.
I have Bagwell at 32.
That's oh
So
fuck yes, yeah!
No, you
I'm
don't.
so stoked. He's great. Like I don't think that there's a tag team he was in the 90s that I don't have an extreme fondness for. Like Vicious and Delicious, really really good. American Male's underrated. The one with the Patriot, maybe not so good, but like his team with Too Cold Scorpio is awesome. Like he's trying so hard to keep up with what Scorpio's bringing to the table, and he cannot. Um, but God bless him for trying. I love Marcus Alexander Bagwell.
I think the official answer on we're getting too into GWE talk, but in 2016 they took non-nominated wrestlers, and the current official answer I think is maybe. Like your
Oh,
ballot won't be
well,
disqualified. They will take
my
your
my ballot was entirely from the list Grimace posted of nominated people. So
okay.
Yano was there.
okay.
Okay, well,
Hell yeah. Then we're
if
in.
you do,
I'll
but I
do a
think
list.
the harshest punishment would
The
be
only
they don't
reason Dan
count.
Shokudino isn't in like my top 20 is that he wasn't on the list. So
Yeah, I think the only thing they said, if they don't count them, they will still count your ballot. It just they won't count that wrestler. They'll count everyone else. I could be wrong, but that's what I heard as the last update. Before we move on, I guess we should talk about things that are going on the site, because I think we just covered it in small theory. By the time people read this, Chris, the top 10 will mostly be posted, right?
Yeah, I mean, once again, if you are one of those people that like listens to the show as soon as Dan drops it at like 1 a.m.
at
Eastern
5
time,
minutes after we finish recording.
that sometimes that one too. But yeah, if you listen to this at the time, I assume most listeners would.
After
The top
9
10 is out.
a.m. Eastern time, right?
Congratulations to Toru Yano, the best wrestler as voted by the violent people community of 2025 and always.
It was an incredible year for Toriano, as it always is.
I can promise you too that there will be nothing in tomorrow's post that could get me specifically labeled as a conservative propagandist.
Oh my god, that was insane.
Love that.
That was
Had a
so
great
good.
time
Wait,
with that
which
one.
blurb did someone say that about?
Brody King. I baited liberals and someone took the bait. So it worked out well. Loved it.
Speaking of rankings and what the site does, I believe Sam is close to posting the first post in the 2CW doing the work, the official ranking of every match from upstate New York's #1 indie promotion of all time.
Fuck yeah.
That's
Is
a little bit
somebody-
of a mouthful.
It's got to work on the title a little. I want him to do the work and prove first that it's the #1 indie promotion of upstate New York. I'm just taking his word for it. I don't know. I think he should show me the work and then we can start the countdown. But that's for sure what's going on the site. And I think Koro might have something coming
Newport
out soon.
podcast Saturday.
It's coming out Saturday?
We're recording it Saturday. I don't know what.
I was like, you're breaking news. That's exciting.
I mean, if it's like every other show we do, he will post it within an hour of recording being over, so it could well go up Saturday.
It could. So new pork podcast coming soon.
I forget what it's called. Worn out tapes. I think I called it blown out assholes
You did
earlier,
call it
which
that.
I like better as a name.
On Saturday, you might want to tell him that, see how he feels.
Well, you don't know what series of matches we're talking about.
I might think it's blown out asshole. You're right.
Is it a bunch of Dan Shogodino matches?
God, I wish.
Razor Ramon
Dude,
HG?
that's the thing is, we were talking earlier about like finding someone to like be the champion of, but like actually this person is unironically sick. That's me with Dino, where yeah, he is genuinely one of the best to ever do it, and I'm not saying that as a bit.
No, he's great.
But then I say that, and then like fucking Cameron's just like, yeah, well, why is he fucking diddling kids all over shows? And I'm like, it's his character. He's a child molester.
You might want to work on the pitch a little, but
well, I'm just saying, everyone fucking jerks themselves off over that fucking Kevin Bacon movie.
Everyone does?
Everyone. They're always like that fucking movie, The Woodsman. I got so fucking horny watching it, I couldn't control myself. I slid out of my chair. And, no one gives Dan Shokodino the same credit.
Yeah. To change subjects, another hypothetical podcast is being discussed. I'm going to make sure I say it just so that it's committed to. Tanner is debating doing a daily podcast with Mickey Knuckles. So check that out. Starting tomorrow.
I'm gonna get us back on the subject of Pat and movies. The Invisible Maniac. You didn't tell me.
Yes,
You
okay,
didn't.
we're gonna, this is the next 4 hours.
You did not tell me how fucking sexy this movie was.
Yeah, no, and one of the best things about the dream sequence where he like falls asleep and has like a 12-minute long dream sequence of just topless women walking around.
Yeah, I know it.
That was because the European distributor was like, we want to buy this movie, but it needs to be a little longer and have more boobs. So he's like, all right, everyone back in. We got to film another 10 minutes of your titties.
If you took out those 10 minutes of boobs, it's still so much boobs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's still mostly boobs.
It's almost like that's kind of the point of the movie.
You didn't make that clear to me. And the second I put it on, I went, "Oh man!"
I described the plot as a high school professor becomes invisible to look at tits.
You did, but you have a way. That's how you basically describe every match you've watched. You have a way of sexualizing things sometimes that, like, I was like, okay, it'll be like a horror movie.
I think you are projecting there.
I think it is. I just watched a little bit. I a little bit watched a porn, and that's fine.
This week it's Invisible. This week it's Invisible Maniac. Last week he's talking about fucking Rosie Red, and he still can't throw Yuki Kamifuko a fucking follow. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable.
God.
I'm sorry, guys. I watched.
Some are calling Yuki Kamifuku the Rosie Red of wrestling.
Porn for Pat. She's a Mrs. Met, and we all know it.
No, she's from Ohio.
I know, because every weird Joshi fan brings it up in every tweet. They're like, she actually speaks English. Like, what does that mean? What do I do with that?
You
I
know,
like
speak
that
to her.
we've come like full circle. It used to be shocking that like Kenny Omega spoke Japanese.
Now it's like the Japanese person, they speak English. Isn't that great?
Anyway, Invisible Maniac, sick movie.
Oh, everyone should watch it.
If you want to see a low key double stomp actually killing someone, but what if Loki was invisible when it happened? It's there.
No, I knew what I was getting into. This movie got watched at like 1:30 a.m. I knew what I was getting into. I was like, I have to make sure
That is the time to watch.
it's
Yeah.
like when I watch like deathmatch wrestling. I was like, I don't want anyone to walk in on this. I'll be embarrassed. I need to be alone. But our actual big top is not the Invisible Maniac. Our big top
It should be.
is it.
in a
Listen,
way, it is.
it's
It should be. I mean, he's facing Sandman at spring break.
oh, I love people getting up in arms about the fucking legacy of the Sandman. That's fucking nuts. Like, have you watched any of his career? I like
Wait,
the Sandman, but what are we talking
Who's
about?
mad? Who's mad?
Oh, people online are always mad.
About him wrestling the Invisible Man, or about
Yeah, about which is like his thing. Like he's been excited about this. Like on his podcast.
Yeah.
I
Have
guess
you
he's
have
been
you
talking
seen
about it.
have you seen the latest like skit he did?
I saw the one at the
Oh,
talk
yeah.
show that was really good. Is there another one?
No. He did
Yeah,
like
that's the
a one that was actually filmed like a little mini movie to build up to it, where he hears from one of those dipshits on his podcast. They're like, the Invisible Man, he's like down at the supermarket. Let's go get him. So Sandman says, all right, we got to do this. And then Fly Like a Bird, or whatever, that Nelly Furtado song.
Oh my god, yeah.
That comes on in the car, and Sandman stops them to sing along to it. Then he goes and buys drugs. And then he gets high and dances around in a parking lot to the Nelly Furtado song. And then they run over the Invisible Man, or think they do, but it turns out they killed a different Invisible Man.
That's so
It's-
good.
Yeah, I mean, it genuinely makes me excited for what Sandman's going to try and do, and how badly he's going to end up in the hospital trying to do
I
this.
just think that anyone that thought that Sandman was gonna let Joey Janela murder him in his last match like Sabu has like no familiarity with Sandman the Man. It was never gonna happen.
why? Speaking of Joey, like, why is Sabu on the Joey Janela's spring break shirt this year?
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome.
That's sick.
I saw the design, and it's Brody Jr. and Joey Janela, and then like the WrestleMania 10 thing that I'm sure they all thought they were very clever when they decided that was going to be what they were doing. And then like above Brody Jr. is Brody, and above Joey Janela is Sabu,
Oh my god.
suggesting that Sabu has returned as a Force Ghost to mentor Joey Janela in this match against, like, I don't know, like a 16-year-old child.
He's in the clouds like Mufasa.
Yeah, like it's
Okay.
like legit. Like that's what's
I have to
happening in
find
this
this shirt because apparently I'm buying my first wrestling shirt in years.
I found it on the LVAC's Instagram. I didn't find, like, I follow them. They
Oh.
print all of my shirts. They're the best. But when I saw that shirt, I was like, what the fuck is happening here? Like, it's like an entire story being told in one screen printed t-shirt, and it's not a very good story.
No, it sounds like an amazing story. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, yep. I'm looking right at it. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly.
How much does it look like Grok made it?
I think someone legit made it.
I think, yes, it looks
Okay.
real. The idea of someone seeing me in this and being like, excuse me, can you explain this to me? I just run away. Just
Oh, I
physically
already
sprint away.
pre-ordered what will be my 2026 2027 going to indie shows t-shirt. Someone's doing a bootleg of the Pam Anderson at WrestleMania 11 thing as a shirt, and I'm just like, yep, this is what we're wearing if we go to Focus Pro.
Stash Pages is printing off some new Francine 469 shirts.
Hell yeah.
Now you're talking past language.
Yeah, no, classic ECW mutant shit. The Invisible Maniac. This is where I'm happy.
I do feel like I've tried the tee up. I've tried the tee up flash pin, a wrestling photography zine, a couple times. I'm trying my best. Colette, so this is your zine that's coming out. This is issue number 2.
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
So, this zine is it's a little self-indulgent. It's a collection of wrestling photography that I have taken, over the years. I think the earliest photos in it are from like 2013, and then like the most recent one is from the final DPW show. So heading into like last year, late last year. But it's the second issue. The first issue is a collection of photos that were taken by fans in the arena on cameras, like film cameras, uh, from a time period between 1964 and 1994, which was like a kind of collection that I started building when we were getting free money during the pandemic. And I thought surely this stream of free money will never end. So instead of doing something smart with it, I started buying people's collections of amateur wrestling photography, and it really started like changing and like influencing the way that I see like wrestling matches, which is interesting to me as somebody who thinks about wrestling matches a lot, all the time, constantly. But like usually like the way that we tend to think about wrestling is in the single fixed perspective of ourselves, like either as somebody in the crowd or as somebody watching on TV. Like we think about wrestling in terms of like what we are able to see with our own two eyes, and not with kind of like the knowledge that there are you know dozens or hundreds or thousands of people who are all experiencing that same thing from a slightly different vantage point, both like interpersonally, like whatever they feel about the wrestlers and whatnot, but also literally from like a different angle because they're in a different seat. Um, which I thought was interesting enough for me to start rambling about on Fanbyte, but I also wanted to show some of these photos because they were really good. Like I think there's one where Chris Adams is pile driving somebody in a used car lot. And that's sick as hell. Like I think I'm like the person who owns that photo now. Like doesn't exist outside of my zine and like the collection that I have. And then I started thinking about how like I have been to a lot of wrestling shows in my life, starting when I was I think my first show was in like 1998, which would have been a house show where the main event was Sting versus Hulk Hogan in a cage. And like how many photos I've taken that like were lost because they were taken on a disposable camera, they never developed or whatever. And then the ones that I still have, and like how that made me think about those matches or like my place in a crowd or whatever. And I think that a lot of the photos that I've taken are also really good, and I thought they were interesting enough to share. And I think that that's the bare minimum for putting together a zine. And that's what I did. And I have now spoken about this a lot with no breaks. So
I'm gonna interrupt
yeah,
to say, where did the Sting Hogan cage match? Where did that show take place?
that was at the Palace of Auburn Hills in
Oh,
Auburn Hills,
okay.
Michigan, home of the Detroit Pistons.
That's right. That's right.
Home of the Detroit Pistons, baby. Yeah, I was too young to go to wrestling shows in 1997, so I was not there for Lex Luger's title win, which would have been the most incredible first wrestling show ever for me. But yeah, that Sting Hogan cage match was that was my birthday present. That was the best 10th birthday present I could have ever gotten.
That's pretty awesome. I have 2 oh, we're born in the same year then. I have 2 questions here. First one, which picture was taken with the Game Boy camera? And why
Oh,
did you bring a Game Boy camera?
There are multiple.
there's
Yeah, there are
multiple.
a
Yeah,
lot.
there are
Yeah,
2 pages that I'm looking at them right now, dude.
there's 2 pages of Game Boy camera
Oh,
ones.
yep. I see
Um,
him now. That's so
and
cool.
yeah, the ones that are most obvious are taken from like AEW. I love taking photos with Game Boy camera. It's very fun. It's super low tech and reactive to lighting. It makes taking photos a challenge. My job is that of a music publicist, so I go to a lot of shows, and like I want to do something that's like kind of cool or kind of unique or like that I can like, show the band later and be like, haha, look at how close attention I was paying or whatever. So I started using a Game Boy camera because either no one has ever seen it or they say, whoa, Neil Young had a record that his daughter took the Game Boy camera like portrait for the album cover, right? Like
Silver and gold.
yeah, exactly. So like those are the two reactions that I got. And I wanted to see if I could do it at wrestling because wrestling is even more difficult to take pictures of than people holding guitars and singing into microphones. Um, because people are moving, and that's like a really difficult thing to capture in the small aperture of the Game Boy camera, which is like basically like a 1996 webcam on top of a Game Boy. Um, and also like the lighting at a wrestling show is much harsher. Like
There's so many lights.
there's so many lights. Like I tried so hard to get Game Boy camera photos from like DPW, but like basically it just looked like a big like ball of white like every time I pointed anything at the ring. But AEW's lighting was perfect because it's very bright. And I think I was sitting, those are all from the Greensboro Coliseum, most of them. So like I was either sitting like close to the entranceway or in the other shots, the ones of like Andrade. Those were taken in Atlanta and Decatur. And I was sitting maybe second or third row. So like it was easy to take shots of things, and like those are the ones that showed up. I'm so stoked that like the one of like Andrade choking Penta like looks as good as it does because like the rest of them are kind of like questionable as to like what's going on. CM Punk and FTR, I think that's the other one that like looks clearest and best. But yeah, it's just fun. Like it's a really stupid gimmicky camera. I love really stupid gimmicky cameras. And that's the one that is the hardest to get good shots with, and I'm really happy when they come out.
I'm not a photographer at all, but you said the thing last AEW show I went to, my niece specifically said, "Get a bunch of pictures." So, I just take my iPhone, and I remember I took, like, 200 pictures, and I remember thinking, like, "Oh, 4 of these look okay."
That's how you do it. That's
And I
exactly
was
how you
but
do
I was
it.
just like you say, it's so hard where I'm like, all of these I thought, "Oh, I'll capture this moment to show her," and I'm like, "This looks like garbage, garbage, garbage."
Yeah, I like there's all of the photos that I took at the last DPW show, I took with like the wrong lens. Like I thought that I was taking like a lens that had like medium zoom or whatever, but medium is where it started. And then like I'm not like I don't know how to talk about this shit, but it was like basically like a telephoto lens. So I was like maybe standing like 2 or 3 rows of chairs back like taking photos, and it basically looked like I was trying to like all the photos were like, here's LeBron Cozone's ass sort of shit. Which is not good. It doesn't make for good photos. So like I was having to like back all the way up, like out of the like as far back as I could go in the arena, just to get like a decent photo of anything. Like if you I think on camera at DPW shows, I'm really obvious because I'm always like moving around, like trying to like not fuck up some like stupid photograph that I think would be fun to take. Um and the I get 4 good ones because I take like 300. It's a struggle.
Yeah, that's been my experience trying to take photos at wrestling shows. Is I have to hold the button down so that my Android phone will take 300 photos of the same thing, and then I'll hope that one of them has the stuff I want to be in focus. In focus.
Yeah, that's smart. I never thought to hold the button down. I just like individually push the button.
If you do it, I don't know what phone you have, but on some phones it's like, yeah, if you hold the button down, it just keeps going. And then the downside is you look at your camera roll and you see, oh, well, I have to scroll through 7 screens that are all just, Brian Danielson's doing one kick.
But he's doing that one kick
But
real good.
yeah, and then, it even looks good in 1 or 2 of the photos. I
I
do want to say one of my favorite things, having looked through the zine a bunch of times, what you said about the different presentation of these photographs versus how wrestling is traditionally presented is very true, but I don't think you really commented on it yourself. When you look at a screenshot of a television show or something. Most wrestling, photos that we see that accompany articles or whatever are screen grabs from television or otherwise framed for television, where the wrestlers are front and center. In these photographs, you can see the people in the crowd, and I find that that's almost more interesting than what the bodies in the ring are doing, especially on the cover and the back cover. These I'm blanking on their names, but the two people from the SPW show.
Yeah, the
You
creeps.
can, yeah, you can see the people right behind them, you know, focusing on them. There's a little kid who's transfixed. There's a woman who's sitting in a camp chair that's having a good time. There's someone in the background who I think just got finished taking a shit. Um, you know, it's very interesting to, take this in as the wrestling show has a crowd. The crowd is not this monolithic appendage of a wrestling match. The crowd is the people. But then again, I'm also the sort of person where if someone takes a photo of themselves in front of a bookshelf, I'm the one going like, what books do they have? So like the picture of Moxley walking to the ring, and you can see all eyes on Moxley, and you can see all of the eyes are on Moxley. That's more impressive than just looking at John Moxley, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, especially someone like John Moxley, who for years, like walking through the crowd is his thing. Like, it is such an important part of his presentation that, like, obviously there are a lot of great professional pictures of John Moxley you can find, but so many of them like don't have that aspect because they're just like, no, I'm focusing on Moxley. But like the point is that he is in the crowd and everyone is transfixed, and this is either their hero or this is the most villainous scumbag, depending on what gimmick he's working at the time. And like it really does capture that essence of Moxley and his connection.
Yeah, I like some of my favorite photos that I've taken that didn't make this scene are kind of more in line with that. Like, I love seeing what other people are taking pictures of at wrestling shows too. Like, I don't know if you ever get that, like when you're behind somebody who's like got their phone out for a long
Yeah.
time, it can be kind of annoying, like if people are like filming half the match or whatever. But like seeing what someone is like really like focused on or like losing their shit about or like has their phone up to like capture this thing forever for is I think um one of the more interesting parts of being at shows anymore for me is like just what's everyone else into. My like I think too, like I love that I will never have ringside credentials. Like, I don't think that I should ever take photos like at ringside. 'Cause, like, there's plenty of people who do an excellent job of that, and I shout a couple of them out in the zine. But yeah, I think that, like, for me, like, what is interesting are, as you said, the people, and I think also to, like, kind of, the way that, like, the focus of, like, impact of, like, some moves, like, shifts, like, from, camera shot to, like, how it looks on film or whatever. Like, I haven't gone back and rewatched Jake Something versus LeBron Cozone, but, like, there's other photos that I took that I didn't put in the zine that, like, to me, like, register that match as, like, something that is, like, iconic and singular for me, in a way that, like, a lot of people have talked this match up, because of what it means to people who like that promotion or whatever. But, like, watching it on tape, I feel like would feel so different for me, just because like, I have captured in some sense, like, what I was seeing at the time and, like, my emotion, like, I can feel what I was feeling, when I watched LeBron, like, hoist those titles up in the air sort of thing, and yeah, that's one of the fun things about wrestling photography, um, that, like, I hope is evident in some of these photos as well.
I used to
Yeah,
work.
Another important thing in these pictures is it firmly establishes that it's criminal that Mark Briscoe shaves his head.
This is true.
Oh man, yeah.
Now,
Look at those videos.
is there a like match or an instance in which you didn't have a camera and you wish you did?
I think that there's some AEW shows that I wish I had a camera that wasn't my phone camera.
Mm,
Like particularly like when I went and saw it was one of the first Dynamites back from like it was one of the first Dynamites back from the pandemic, and it's the one where Cody Rhodes did the promo about, like, America or whatever. One of his many promos about America, but I went because I wanted to see Yuji Nagata versus Jon Moxley, because
mm,
Nagata was, like, this, like, towering figure for me, as a consequence of my liking the dudes who could kick real good in WCW, NWO Revenge. So I wish that I had, like, better like, I wish that I had pictures of that because what I was taking on my cell phone was so far away that all you can really see is the camera crane.
sure.
Um, so, like, there's, like, stuff like that that I wish that I did. I wish that I still had the photos from, like, some of the shows that I was seeing when I was a kid. Like, there's no way that they would have turned out very well. I have, like, one, like, stack of photos that someone took at, like, um, a Hulkamania era WWF show where, like, every photo is just, like, a blurry blob of, like, Coco Beware moving around sort of thing, and, like, I think that's what my photos would have looked like as, like, a 10-year-old, but it still would
Yeah.
have been sick to have a photo of, like, Sting and Hogan in the cage or, like, one of the untelevised Chris Benoit concussion spots that I saw in that night's triple threat match where, he took the even flow DDT on an artist's easel. Like, those are moments that I would like to have, in photograph in some way, shape, or form. Like, I saw a lot of WWF Raw, during the period where, like, Stone Cold Steve Austin was coming to the ring and, like, Zambonis and stuff like that. Like, those are things that I wish that I had photos of. And also, AIW is something that I didn't take a lot of pictures of because I started working for it. So, there's 1 or 2 photos in here from AIW, like, I think there's one of Sarah Del Rey, choking out Sassy Steffi, and that's about it for, like, a and,
Ultraman is
Ultraman is
black.
Black, there's one of Ultramanus,
Is this rude? Because I'm sure you've already printed this to call you out on the date on that one.
I might have screwed up the date.
Because that looks like it's Turner's Hall, and that couldn't have been
Yeah, no, that means
2015.
that it should be 2014. It's the same
Yeah.
weekend that I saw Buff Bagwell, doing
Oh,
Body Shop.
that's your last weekend then,
That's
right?
my last weekend. I screwed up the
Yeah.
date. This is, I don't proofread, well, clearly. But yeah, no, I don't have any photos from, like, when I was working, AIW, which is, like, a shame because like, it would've been cool to get like, this is the one time that I would've taken, like, Mark photos with anyone who's, like, taking photos with, like, Necro Butcher or, like, the Briscoes or things like that. Would've been fun, but I was so focused on, trying not to fuck up, when I was announcing that I just didn't really take any pictures of the shows, and I wish that I had.
That's awesome. This is not about your zine. I'm thinking about living in Cleveland and pro wrestling photography. When I worked at BJ's Wholesale Club, which is like a Sam's Club,
Yeah.
for a while my job was the front door person that like checks your receipt and makes sure you're not stealing. And this guy comes up, and actually I was talking to another guy about wrestling, and the guy behind him goes, "You like pro wrestling?" I go, "Yeah, I like pro wrestling." He goes, "How long are you gonna be here?" And I was like, "I don't know, like 3 hours." And he goes, "I'll be back." And then he darts off, takes his cart, darts off, comes back with the largest binder I've ever seen, and slaps it down next to me. And it's like, "Look at all my pictures." And he had all these pro wrestling photos. They were pretty cool.
That's sick.
It was such like a pro wrestling fan interaction though, where it's like pro wrestling
Yeah.
fans, none of us know how to be complete humans. So he's like,
No.
wait here. Drove home, got it, came speeding back. I loved it.
I
Um,
Yeah, like, I had one interaction like that with someone where I think I was, like, wearing a Stan Hansen shirt at the gym, and, I was living in Georgia at the time. So, this dude comes up to me, he's, like, in his 60s, and he's like, "Stan Hansen?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I haven't heard that name in a while." And I was like, "Oh, yeah? Do you watch wrestling?" And he's like, "Well, when I was a boy, he used to tag team with Ole Anderson. Those were 2 of the meanest sumbitches in the state of Georgia." And
Facts.
that's how I learned that there was an Arn Anderson Ole like or Stan Hansen Ole or damn, I'm mixing up names now. A Stan Hansen and Ole Anderson tag team, which is one of the greatest tag teams I've ever seen. They fit together like legs and feet basically. They're made for each other.
that's fucking cool.
It's
Um, Now how do people buy this? I can tell you I'm looking at the price, and that's too low.
Well, right now, I think that I have failed to put it on the internet for purchase. This debuted at a zine festival a couple of weeks ago. Soon, however, probably by the time this goes up, though not for the, I forget what Pat's prediction for how many people would listen to this as soon as it goes up is like 9. If you're one of the 9 people listening to this the moment it's posted, it probably won't be up yet, but tomorrow it will be on fearofaghost.bigcartel.com.
I'll put
And
that
it
in the
will be
show notes.
$5, which is too cheap, but that's how much zines should cost, I feel.
And you got any other shirts or anything that are going up there? For
As of tomorrow, there will be I'll be putting the Johnny Knoxville and John Waters shirts back up for sale, and I have more gay community shirts, but until I run out of those, I will probably not have a new shirt coming for a minute. I'm trying to think of what I'm gonna do because I need to do something that's not.
the point is, you can buy a zine
You could
of
buy a
cool
zine
photographs and a gay community
and a
shirt
gay
in the
community shirt.
same spot, so there's really no reason
It's
not to
perfect.
head over,
And if you
throw some
do
money at this fine person.
if you do, I will send you a sticker depicting Dwayne The Rock Johnson on the cover of Neutral Milk Hotel's 1998 classic album In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, where the other like the lady on the cover who has a tambourine for a head, the tambourine has been replaced with a pie. It's a very difficult joke to explain.
Is
See, my brain was going to some kind of King of Scorpion Flowers type.
That's a very that's a probably a better idea than mine.
no, I love like I love a good reference to the Rock's pie era.
Yeah, it's
is the Johnny and John I'm changing subjects here real fast. Is the Johnny and John shirt gonna be in the pink again?
it is the pink colorway,
Hell yeah.
yes.
Alright. I'm gonna get one then.
Yes, I love hearing.
Chris, I was talking with a friend of mine about because he posted the sold out Stephanie McMahon WrestleMania photo op thing. And it's like $225 to get your picture taken with Stephanie McMahon at like WWE Access or whatever it's called. And I was saying someone needs to make like what was Jericho's fucking thing where it's like, the dirty trash bag, bottom feeding, stank ass hoe
Sleazy,
or whatever.
scumbag, disgusting, trash bag hoe.
Yeah, the trash bag, just wearing that on a shirt and then showing up for the Steph McMahon photo op. Like, I'm your biggest fan.
I think that was a legit Chris Jericho shirt, like, in the year 2000.
It would not shock me.
Yeah,
I mean, people wore shirts with like Insane Clown Posse on it. It was crazy.
There was that The Rock Poontang Pie shirt.
Yes.
That shirt's fucking
There was
awesome.
One of the
10
I'm
years
going
ago
eBay
when
right
I
now.
when I would go to Beyond Wrestling shows around Massachusetts and Rhode Island, there was a guy who was always there and he was always wearing the APA always pounding ass shirt.
Yes. Holy shit. Um, a zine fest sounds cool. Orca, do you know that, like, at the library in
Yeah,
Austin, like, the
yeah,
whole thing is, like no, I'm going somewhere with this. They have, like in the kids section, they have,
Oh.
like, all this materials to make zines, and then the kids put them out and take these other zines home.
Yeah.
I think it's really
that's
sweet.
sick.
Yeah, it's really
That's
cool.
really sick.
That's really cool, and people know, check out if you're a child, check out the Austin Public Library. Also, stop listening to this.
Yeah,
Talk about pie a lot.
where are your parents?
Did you say where are or we're?
We are
your
we are now your
parents?
parents, the 5 of us,
I'm
That's bad.
sorry.
That's not good.
and
That's
I
not good.
I think I was gonna give you a ride to the library, but just take a Waymo. It's probably fine.
Oh, I hate you.
Okay, now the zine festival, you can talk about that if you want, but I mean, libraries are cool.
Yeah, I'll throw a quick plug for the zine festival, mostly because it was Athens, Georgia's own Fluke mini comics and zines expo, which is run by Robert Newsom, who if none of y'all know of Robert, he
Gavin Newsom's brother.
no, 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 no,
Oh.
no. Gavin spells it incorrectly. Robert keeps the E on. Robert is the editor of the venerable wrestling zine, The Atomic Elbow, which also recently had a new issue come out. about AWA Super Clash 3. And like Robert's kind of like IMO, one of the leading lights of writing and thinking about this extremely stupid hobby that all of us have in common. So if you haven't checked out the Atomic Elbow at this point, there are 42 issues to choose from. There's plenty to read, but this most recent one was very good, so I highly recommend it.
This might be reflective of just who I am and my interests and things. When someone says I'm putting out a zine that goes into my thoughts on, let's just say such and such wrestling match, I'm automatically more inclined to take it seriously and want to read it than someone who has a blog where it's like, someone who does a blog about, I don't fucking know, like Abdullah the Butcher versus Becky Lynch or something. I'm just kind of like, okay, yeah, great blog post. Maybe I'll get to that one day. But when I see someone is like, oh, they care about this enough to create a physical object to, record their thing. I'm like, okay, now I'm in, because that's just, I'm the person who is constantly looking through like old, industrial music zines and stuff like that, where probably a little less racist than wrestling fans, but otherwise just full of weird stuff that falls through the cracks. And I don't know why it just appeals to me that much more to have someone publish it in that way versus just, sharding it out online. I mean, am I alone in thinking that?
No,
Well-
I like zine, like people who make zines, and I have dear friends like on and offline who have been part of like zine culture and stuff. Like I respect the hell out of it because it is like a true labor of love. It is like one of the most pure things that you can do is make a zine about like whatever the fuck you want to make. If it's about like Vinegar Syndrome ass move, like B movies or pro wrestling or punk music or anything. Like I know people who do food zines, and obviously huge part of skate culture and everything, but like that is like in a world where everyone is like a writer because everyone has a letterboxd and everyone has a Twitter and everyone has a rate your music or whatever site where you can just blurt out all your thoughts. It's such a like much more intense and personal way of like getting your love for whatever you love out in the world, and it's awesome.
But
Yeah, with that,
real fast, if you do shard it out online at violentpeople.co, it's actually really, really good.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah,
the
but
exception.
should do
I
that.
print
Okay.
out all the articles.
Oh, so like everything
Yeah.
we have is kind of a zine in its own, if you think about it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a couple hundred pages and counting.
I would
now.
like to say the
Most
last
of it,
wrestling zine
VP 100.
I tried to buy was $47 shipped.
That's not a zine.
That's what I said. I
Yeah,
said
That's
I
not a
can't.
zine.
I said I wouldn't pay that for like a book. I'd go get it in person. I can't. That's too much.
Yeah.
yeah,
I did. No, go on, sir.
Oh no, I like that zine should be named and shamed IMO, but
I'm
$47.
gonna not because they seem very nice, but
Was it like from fucking Australia or something?
it was from Canada, which I know
Oh,
okay,
shipping.
well,
it's not their
that
fault.
makes a
It's
lot of
our
sense.
But
fault.
if I lived in Canada, it was actually more somehow. The shipping was
Yeah.
$22 to ship to me in the US. It was gonna be $25 if I lived in Canada. I couldn't follow that logic either, but I didn't get into it because I politely declined.
I mean, was it $47 Canadian? Because that's like $3.
Maybe it was. Maybe that was a miscommunication.
I, as somebody who's in publishing for like 15 years, I really appreciate like what zines are like, because it's the same minus the pretense. And also like, I mean, I'm an anarchist. I got my entire like political like ideology from zines. A cool one that came out a couple months ago was PD Pro Wrestling. Does those like really fucking cool, like really like lo-fi kind of drawings. Did one called Underdog. I'm happy to plug that. That was a really fun little essay. Got that sitting on my desk right now. And Colette's, but Colette has to put the link up.
Yeah,
so.
I gotta put the link up.
Yeah.
I do think, kind of honing in on what I said earlier, trying to express it a little more coherently than I did the first time. It really feels like, at least in this corner of wrestling, but maybe all of wrestling fandom, this is a fandom that wants to be heard a lot more than it wants to listen to anyone.
Yeah.
Everyone fancies themselves the next Colette or Joseph or Simon or Meltzer or whatever. And
Or
so I
Podrick.
think, yeah, the next Podrick, God, man, imagine the spelling on that person. But the making a zine, caring about what you're saying enough that you will go to the physical effort of creating it versus, just kind of putting it out there with no overhead, no labor. I feel like I do care more, and I'm more apt to listen to someone in a world where everyone wants you to listen to them. Everyone wants you to hear their new revelation about, hey, Terry Funk actually had some good matches. Have you heard about this? Everyone's breaking that news over and over again.
Okay,
Yeah.
well now you're
But
calling our guest out.
if someone cares enough about the point that they're making that they are going to put their skin in the game, I'm like, yeah, let's give that a go.
Yeah, I agree. It's always fun to see like what other folks are discovering. Like I like that the internet has made it so that everyone can have a blog or a social media account. I will say that I do think it's funny that every attempt to do like a wrestling based letterboxd has failed. That brings me great joy because not all wrestling fans should be able to say their opinion loosely on the
Now,
internet.
if only the film-based letterbox would fail too, then I'd
I don't know what I would
fucking
do
over.
with my life.
I have a master's degree in film studies, and nothing makes me want to completely disengage from the world of movies more than letterboxed.
I don't know. I need it so that I can keep making my little lists of like good stairways.
Oh yeah, no, using it for lists
Yeah.
is one thing. Using it to launch your career as the next great thinker of the cinephile
Oh, that
world,
won't
which
work.
I think 95% of people who use the site seem to think that
Yeah.
it's it's like, I don't know, it's the same kind of delusion you see in people who buy scratch tickets.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I would love to see more people do zines. It's not very difficult. It's like I say this when most of my zines are either image based or like just me kind of like bullshitting. But like a lot of the best zines that I have are people who just have like very esoteric takes on very niche subjects, and like that sort of thing is not rewarded on the internet anymore. So I feel like going back to the zine is something that we're going to see a lot of. I think more wrestling zines would be good. Like more wrestling zines where people are like just talking about the weird shit that they've seen. Cause like again, I'm so gift and clipped out that like, it's a miracle that I clicked play on any of the Madman Pondo Shane Douglas clips, because like at this point, what is a clip? Like it's just, I don't know. Like I've seen
A miserable pile of secrets.
exactly. Thank you. Thank you for completing the Shakespeare quote for me. Like it's just they don't do it for me anymore. Like I like great, you can show me I don't know what match this is from, but there's an Andreza the giant panda match that's going around a lot lately. And it's like, all right, I've seen this gif 400 fucking times now. Like when is somebody going to say why they like this? And I think that that is a space that we have less and less of online because of the way social
Well,
media
you know who did
so
do that in that specific example was Matt D.
well, there we go. Well, of course, Matt D is like a notes app warrior. I respect the hell
Yeah.
out of him. I don't know how he does it, and I think that if he did it on Blue Sky, he would be getting yelled at for alt text. So, or maybe he does post alt text. I don't know.
He does not.
He does not. Damn.
No.
No wonder. He'd be getting canceled on Blue Sky. But But yeah, like I really think that zines are a good place for that sort of thing. Particular like again, like the most recent issue of the Atomic Elbow is about AWA Super Clash 3. And I think that Robert is probably the one person who has watched that in this year. So it's really interesting to see somebody work their way through the politics of Sergeant Slaughter versus the Iron Sheik in a boot camp match sort of thing. Like it's good stuff, and it's something that would not have a home on the internet. So we have to make zines.
So did I ever tell you guys about how when I first got on Blue Sky, I registered the username cityofboston.bsky.social, and
No.
it took them literally a year to put the impersonator tag on me. And all I ever really did with it, I would read stuff and then I'd like retweet, like if someone would tag like at City of Boston, my dog is lost, I'd retweet that. But yeah, it took them a year to be like, I don't think this is the real city of Boston.
I would have just posted about Boston crabs, Boston cream donuts.
Oh, I forgot that I did
Marathons.
post once in 2023. I posted Boston Strong in Arabic.
My God.
Is that the
His
day that you got
mind.
the imposter tag slapped on you?
No, I got the imposter tag at least a year later.
It's a great website.
Okay, I'm about 12 minutes behind on this, and I feel like we've been mean to him this episode, but someone on Letterboxd said, No Country for Old Men. This was posted March 24th, 2026. A movie that would make an incredible audiobook.
Well,
Sam, that audiobook
not wrong.
exists. I'm gonna send it to you. I'm gonna blow your mind, Sam. You're gonna get an Audible gift soon. All right.
I mean,
You guys wanna
it's a nice movie to listen to.
you guys want to answer some bullshit questions?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, let's do
More
it.
than anything.
I especially want to answer question. Did anyone ask about RPW?
Oh, they did. We'll get into that, but I want to start with
Thank God.
a poor question so Colette can politely ask the
Oh,
leaf. Question for the podcast. If there's some sorts of magic you're not aware of, from now on, whenever you flip a coin, it'll be tails. How long do you think it takes to notice this?
I'm going to say about as long as it took Blue Sky to realize that I wasn't the real City of Boston account.
Well, every time I flip a coin, which isn't that often, I go tails never fails. I do think there comes like the 7th time I won a coin flip in a row. I got to be thinking, what's going on?
I think you should be more worried about other people
All thinking I'm
who
cheating.
were like, yeah, you're going to get fucking shot, man.
All right.
Yeah, they're gonna think you've got a weighted
A
coin.
loaded coin.
Yeah.
All right. Chromat, question for the pod. If you had to guess how much money Buddy Rose lost in kayfabe, what would your number be? Okay.
$1 million billion.
I think these questions get better. Eamon, question for the pod. Cast, who are you most excited to see show up as a villain when you're watching a random movie on TV? Gene Hackman or Brian Cox?
I see Gene Hackman as a hero most of the time.
No way.
And I know. It's, what was the movie he did where he was the what the fuck was it? My favorite Gene Hackman movie is the one where like he's investigating that. Is it Mississippi Burning? Is that the name of it? Chris, I'm leaning on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that to me is like my quintessential Gene Hackman like role. But I think this would be a good opportunity for me to say that please look out for my Twitter on December 17, 2027, where I have scheduled a tweet that says, "Do you guys think Gene Hackman is a bottom or a top?" I came up with that the day he died.
Right.
So I'm going to say Gene Hackman. This is going to tie back into another question that I know is in the stocks, but Gene Hackman playing a villain, it's probably at the very least going to be a good performance. Brian Cox as a villain, he's been in some real dog shit, man. Like he is in the tradition of great British actors who are just like, just cut me a check, I'll be in your fucking. He was the villain in the fucking Glimmer Man with Steven Seagal and Keenan Ivory. The movie where Steven Seagal identifies a corpse by ripping out her breast implants in front of the coroner.
Okay, give me the name of that movie again, real quick.
The Glimmer
Glimmer
Man.
Man.
Okay, I'm gonna have to add that to the list.
It's the movie. It's the movie where Steven Seagal he has Keenan Ivory Wayans to be his funny sidekick, but Steven Seagal tells most of the jokes for some reason.
It's one of my dad's favorite movies. R.I.P.
It's a bonkers movie.
I have a
that the
tweet.
one where
Got an idea
Love
for a
that
tweet
scene.
I'm gonna put out about your dad in a couple of years.
All right. I once had a dream that my dad told me he was gay, which is hilarious if you knew my dad, because he looked like Jerry Garcia and he sounded like Rex Ryan.
Oh man, that rules.
You rocked. You rocked.
Pora, question for your podcast. How do you like your eggs? We're gonna have to put a limit on questions.
I'm sorry, I didn't. How do
How
I
do you
like what?
like your eggs?
Scrambled usually.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm mostly just getting them scrambled.
I'm an over easy guy.
Same.
Colette?
Scrambled or over medium.
Okay, all right. Question for the pod. Favorite match of the 2020s?
Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe Damus Mad Dog? I don't know.
Favorite being different from best.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was 3 days into sobriety when Moxley Punk 1 happened, and I feel like it was that exact moment when I was like, yeah, I can fucking do this. So for me, that's easily my favorite match. And I'll say too, that was around the time where like I really appreciated Moxley, but I don't think I really understood like his GWE case until like that point forward. So for me, that's easily it.
Sting's retirement would be probably my pick, but being there for Sting's retirement, and also I guess I got to interview Sting for PWI as well, so that was like an extremely meaningful match for me, and it was great. It's so fucking good. Like it's a masterpiece, basically. I'm stoked. Like in WCW, you usually only got to hear like 20 seconds of Metallica before they cut it off because I think that they didn't want to pay for it. But Tony Khan, he paid for the whole fucking thing. Like he played that shit on repeat. It was an emotional evening, and then also Knoxville versus Zayn is also in like the masterpiece tier. It's the last WWE match. Nothing else has happened since then.
Okay.
Chris, do you have one? I'd be so interested to hear if Chris had one.
Yeah, I'm trying to put in timelines because I like anything that happened in the last decade, especially like I guess like 2020 is a decent like cutoff because there was a pretty major thing that happened there.
Yeah, a little bit.
Speaking of 20, Chris, back me up on this. Viano Tercera Jr. versus Aereo from like right before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a 5-star match, right? The mask versus mask one.
Yes,
that one's awesome.
Yes,
back me up on that.
That match is fucking awesome.
Did
yes.
Did Joseph do a video on that? Somebody? I might have made that up. We're gonna say they did though.
Yeah,
the only good wrestling that happened in 2020, several Wotan versus Fishman combinations happened. Many of them also involving like Mr. Condor, a little bit of Mascara Sagrada, but at the time Fishman's main opponent, like voting to a mask match, was Wotan, and that stuff is fucking sick. Like that is like before Wotan was pivoted to trauma for the masked feud. Like I really wish we got that a Places match.
One of my favorite, gifts of 2020, favorite clips of 2020's wrestling is from Trauma versus Wotan when the bottle doesn't break. And there's just this loud donk sound effect. I'm just like, oh man, that's yeah. It's like one of those Chris Benoit, like that's the one that did it.
There is one like Wotan Fishman brawl where Fishman, like, they work him getting arrested, and it is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen.
All right. Q for the P. What's your favorite episode of a TV show?
Oh no, this is actually very easy. King size Homer from The Simpsons.
Yeah, that's a good one.
My favorite Simpson episode is You Only Move Twice.
That's
But
also a good one.
Probably the series finale of the fuck was the name of the goddamn show? The first Nathan Fielder show. The fuck was the name of it?
Nathan for you?
Nathan for you. Yeah, the series
It's a
finale.
very
of Nathan for
convincing
You.
answer when you don't know the name of the television
Like,
show
it was
that
so-
has the name of the
I
person
usually-
in it.
This is around the time I start dissociating from this podcast. Is when we get to question number 6 from Porg.
Orchid, did I ever tell you about seeing Nathan Fielder live doing comedy?
Yes, right. There was like you use no, that's a tweet. No, you have not.
Okay, so it was him and H. John Benjamin, kind of trading off. And at one point they used the screen, and it's projected on the back of the club, and the desktop, they had covered it in folders labeled like porno, porn, sick porn, horse porn, like extreme porn, like just 100 folders. And it took people a minute to notice, but I could not stop laughing because they just continued carrying on. They ignored the crowd laughing and carried on with their thing. It was so good.
Colette, what's your favorite episode of a TV show?
My favorite episode of a TV show is The Ascent from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It's the one where Quark and Odo have to climb a mountain, and I think that Captain's like contra to that is the plight of Captain Sisko and Nog, who are trying to trade from a bad position where they have like, I don't know, they broke a desk and need to replace it, and they're trying to do it by like trading a bunch. It's dope. It's everything you need in Deep Space Nine. Vaguely homoerotic frenemies and complete nonsense. Runner up to that would be Looking for Parmakai in All the Wrong Places, which is also a Deep Space Nine episode where Worf tries to help Quark get a date, and everyone gets laid. It's perfect.
Okay, I've brought this up on the podcast before, but you seem like the only person who know what I'm talking about. Are you familiar with Alex Daniels and Josh Singh's Star Trek podcast?
No, what?
Yeah, it's they have like that's like their full-time job now. Is they have a Patreon and they talk about Star Trek. They're watching Voyager right now.
That's insane. What's it
Yeah.
called?
Target Audience.
Wow. I will
Chris, do you have a
have
favorite
to-
episode of
you
a TV
know-
show?
Like, I was thinking of a Lost episode, and I was trying not to just say The Constant, but it's probably The Constant. And note, I did get timelines confused. The Fishman match I was referring to, where he gets arrested, was actually part of the Sagrada feud. Wotan is not involved. It is Ancla, Io de Mascara Sagrada, and Io del Espectro Jr. versus Io de Fishman, Mr. Aguila, and Terremoto from Lucha Strong, May 29th, 2022, which you should all watch right now.
Right now.
I'd like to amend my answer. There's an early episode of Murder, She Wrote where a dog fucking kills a bunch of people and they put him on trial. That was pretty fucking sick. It's called It's a Dog's Life.
I answered my favorite Simpson episode, I realized, not my favorite episode. It could still be that. I also really like the final episode of The Shield. I think it's Family Meeting. And then you got to give it up for Joss Whedon. Good guy, better writer. And the body episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Check it out, people. All All right, we have a request for the pod. Can we get a breakdown of all the Berwyn Eagles drama featuring Dan's inside track on Deathmatch Facebooks? I'm hoping for some high-level investigative reporting. If you don't know, Berwyn Eagles, after this next AAW show, is no longer allowed wrestling because Ricky Shane Page and Schlack and Joe Dredd's not new promotion, but new for them to be owners, faked a stabbing of Cruel. And it became a big deal. And I did some work, and I want you guys to know that Ruthless Pro Wrestling, I asked them some questions. They read it and ignored it. The Berwyn Eagles Club says, "Hi, thanks for contacting us. We received your message and appreciate you reaching out." I'm not done, so I called oh man, I lost her name, Claudia something. She's in charge of communication for the city of Berwyn Eagles, and she says, "I'm not familiar with what you're talking about. I'll look into it and get back to you." So I'm on it, guys. I'm on it. Question for the pod: who is your favorite wrestler can affectionately refer to as little shit, as a little shit?
Dick Togo.
Oh, he's a little shit.
He's a little shit.
My favorite wrestler who could be affectionately Shawn Michaels.
Orchid? Who's a little shit?
You know, I think like 70% of the wrestlers I like, I call little shits in some way, shape, or form. Even if I'm pushing the boundary of what is a little shit, I definitely call Moxley a little shit pretty regularly. I think my answer to this is probably Slade. That's very in the moment, but yeah, that's my little sweet shit.
My answer is Kid Bandit.
I don't know if he still qualifies because I haven't really been watching New Japan over the last couple years, but I guess like Taichi.
That's a little shit.
He's a little shit.
Yeah.
Isabel has a really good question here, guys. Q for the P. What's a good question for the podcast?
The 2020's best match one was good because we actually had something to talk about instead of just like, you know, what would you, if you had magic powers to do this specific, don't lead us.
But I will say the worst questions, and Pork doesn't ever do this. Don't ask 5 separate people to list their 10 favorite anything.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's 50 items you have to listen to. No one wants that.
Good.
No, I'm just saying, give us a topic to riff on with your question, and that I'm generally happy.
I don't mean to play favorites here, but all he even does is post emo lyrics, talk about girls who stand him up on Twitter, and then pop in and ask the simplest questions. Everybody should be more like Haven when it comes to question asking.
He's the only guy to pass the white boy challenge.
It's true.
Also, once again, going back to the question, this is why spreadsheets are actually good. I somehow forgot during the 2020's question the actual answer. It is Black Terry versus Mr. Condor from 2022.
Oh shit!
I could have sworn that was before COVID.
Wow. It all blends together.
That's as Chris an answer as you could get.
That match is incredible.
No, I mean it's the correct answer. I'm actually putting that above Sami Zayn and Knoxville.
Marilyn asked, which member of the Violent People Discord would be most likely to end up in a fake stabbing incident?
Pat.
Yeah, as a mailman, I deal with members of the public all the time.
Well, but it's a fake
I'm
stabbing.
sure one of them would fake stab me.
Okay, because Porg wants to know which member of the Violent People Discord most likely to end up in a real stabbing incident.
Dan.
Okay.
You've got the tenants. You're going to push one of them too far.
That's fair.
You go to all these softball games with no security.
That you're drinking at illegally and against
park policy. Come on, that's not real. Are you gonna send the fucking ranger after me? He's gonna stab me?
Hopefully not a lady ranger.
Don't get me started. Question for the pod: which show taking place on Sunday in Vancouver are you looking forward to more, AEW Dynasty or TJPW Vancouver premiere? I'm sorry.
We got to know what Yuki Kamifuku's up to in Vancouver. I mean, that's...
Okay, here's a better one. Follow up, Tim. Can any of you name the premiere of Canada?
Of Vancouver.
No. Didn't he say the premiere of Vancouver?
Vancouver, sorry, yeah.
Katy Perry, isn't it?
I got it. I got nothing. I just know
Here's my
that
answer. Who cares?
so they just won't ship me their fucking zine is all I know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Question for Colette. This is just for you. Least favorite host? I will
That's
not
not
move
a
on until
nice
you answer.
question. I don't like this question. Do I count as a host for this this
Absolutely
question?
not.
Ah. Ah. um
We're all thinking Tanner.
I'll accept Tanner or Sam as answers.
yeah, sure.
All right.
Let's go with Sam because
He's been
I was
getting at
ready to
this.
talk about Southern Fried Championship Wrestling and they got fired. So
Now the questions seem to be just for you, so strap in. What is your favorite dumb wrestling trope? Isabel wants to know.
I think this is more of a gimmick than a trope, but I think my favorite along these lines is anything Midnight Rider-esque. Where like a wrestler loses a loser leaves town match, and then somebody who looks strikingly like that wrestler and sounds strikingly like that wrestler reappears in a mask and claims to have never met the fella that they're accused of being, but they hear really nice things about him, and they're just going to try to make their way here in the NWA or the WWF. I think that like the least successful version of this was either maybe the Yellow Dog in WCW was probably the least successful. I wasn't really a big fan of the Handsome Stranger in Chikara, but the Midnight Rider and Mr. America and Charlie Brown from Out of Town, S. Lee is Stagger Lee, like all those. I love that gimmick so much, and it is so fundamentally stupid. The only thing that I like, even remotely close, that I guess would be a dumb trope, uh, is Twin Magic. Like I love Twin Magic. Again, just going back to my love of the Bella Twins, but also the Vianos. Uh, and I guess the Killer Bees. Like the Killer Bees are the funniest ones because they have to put on masks for it to happen. Everyone gets real mad about it. Yeah, those two things, which both involve deception and sleights of hand, that only a big dum dum would fall for. Because at the end of the day, this is a medium for children, and reminding children that they can be smarter than adults and more in on the joke than authority figures, I think, is one of the best things that wrestling can do. So that's my favorite trope.
That's beautifully put. These
I
next two
came
are kind
prepared
of
for that one.
this next two are kind of lumped together. Favorite Roger Ebert review and favorite Siskel and Ebert interaction. I'm gonna jump in and say my favorite Ebert related thing is, what was that documentary called? Life Itself?
Yeah.
I loved how much
Yep.
every film critic jerked off to that movie. That's all I got, is that everyone's like, you know what? Every film critic was like, film criticism is the most important thing in the world. You're right. But yeah, you guys can answer those questions if you want.
I think my favorite Ebert review, there's a lot of really, really good ones, but like for me, I really love his review of Black Dynamite, which is a movie that he thought was okay, but I think like if I remember correctly, he's just like describing like the movie. He's like, oh yeah, like everyone looks good in their period like costumes and stuff like that. And also there's a lot of boobs in this movie. And if there's something
Yes.
that movies are lacking these days, it's boobs. You only see boobs in serious movies that you have to think about the reasons why those boobs are there. And Black Dynamite says, these are boobs, god damn it. Enjoy these boobs. And I fucking did. I'm Roger Ebert. Like that's a great one. There's another one where like I forget what it's for 300, where like he's been writing about movies for like 40 years, and never once outside of a movie about professional wrestling has he mentioned pro wrestling. And then he just starts describing beat for beat stuff that happened in like a Hell in a Cell match between Edge and The Undertaker. and I think I put this together after he died. And I think that the reason why is because Werner Herzog kept insisting to Roger Ebert that he needed to watch wrestling because that was like the poetry of the common people or whatever. And he listened, and the thing that he found himself watching was Hell in a Cell, which you had to pay for in that day, it being 2007, before the dawn of the WWE network. So that's another favorite of mine. It's just like suddenly like Edge and The Undertaker are here to discuss 300. my favorite Siskel and Ebert interaction, I think, is the other question. And my answer to that is, if you look for Siskel and Ebert outtakes on YouTube, you will come across the two of them talking in great detail about how Protestants are fucking whack because they don't have the same long-lived and important histories as the Jews and the Catholics, who, according to Ebert, go a long way back, and then both of them high five and like break for lunch. It's wonderful. I think that video also has like Gene Siskel like imitating Roger Ebert's like McDonald's order, where he's like, he goes up to the menu and he's like, I'll have the following, and he just like gestures to the whole menu. It's like very mean spirited. But but it's great. It's great. I don't know why I was asked questions about Roger Ebert. I am a huge fan. I love Roger Ebert's stuff. Their David Letterman appearances are great too, particularly the ones where they play basketball. I would highly recommend the basketball sketch from David Letterman.
So let me tag in on this one because I've also read a lot of Roger Ebert. I think the best thing about, well, let me backtrack one second. When I read a lot of what people write about wrestling now, it reads like they are trying to do film criticism just about a wrestling show.
Yeah.
They're taking the writing tropes that they use are not the tropes of writing about sports or writing about performance art. It's writing about film. And I think Ebert is a film writer, a film critic who should be not just read, but studied and dissected by people who want to write about film, because he does more than just, his function in the newspaper was to recommend whether or not you should go see a movie. Everything comes from that point. He takes every movie, even if it's the shittiest Transformers sequel, on its own terms and addresses like, does this set out what it's trying to do? Is it a waste of your money if you go see it? Is there something to enjoy in this? He approaches everything from the question of within the framework of what this is, not the framework of every movie ever judged in a solid continuum, just within what this one movie is trying to do. Is there anything interesting in it? And I think this ties back to the Gene Hackman thing. A really good review he did is the one for The Quick and the Dead, which has Gene Hackman as the guy doing the shooting contests. It's the Sam Raimi movie with what's his name, Leo and Sharon Stone.
It's phenomenal. I love it.
It's a movie that has a lot that doesn't get me, but a lot that does get me. And he is able to convey that in his writing to say, like, there's a lot of cool, interesting stuff in this movie. There's also some stuff that, is kind of whatever. And it's the job to separate these out and be able to identify and articulate those things. He was also a guy who didn't pick and choose what he saw. He was a paid film critic. He saw every movie. But my personal favorite one is his review for Exit Through the Gift Shop, where in the middle of an otherwise very good review of the Banksy documentary, he starts getting into a straw man argument with the commenters of his website about whether or not he thinks video games are art.
I remember like being part of that controversy. It was
the review just
a wild time.
He talks about the insane premise of Exit Through the Gift Shop, which is, for people who don't know, Banksy, the graffiti artist, finds a crazy guy who films graffiti artists and takes the guy's footage and makes it into a film about the guy who films graffiti artists, who in turn becomes a gallery artist, who is probably right now hobnobbing with the Orange Crush produce guy. And just in the middle of describing this and the insane premise and questioning, what is real, what does any of this mean? Meanwhile, I had a blog post that has, as of this moment, 3,977 comments about whether or not video games are art. I don't think they are. Back to the movie.
He was right.
His review of Transformers 2: Dark of the Moon was pretty sick. That one's good.
He has some great burns, like The Scarlet Letter with Demi Moore and Robert Duvall.
Yeah.
That was the Scott Keith hot poker up the ass system. That's for all the people who read like, you know, fucking Inside Pulse Wrestling in 2001.
You guys didn't talk about that dead guy yet.
Hmm?
What wrestler do you think has the most interesting hobbies from poor?
I think that the most
Most
interesting hobby a
interesting
wrestler can
hobbies.
have is collecting toys.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
good.
need him to put it
Yeah.
on YouTube. Please.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think that whiskey is a good hobby for podcasters to be into, or for wrestlers to be into. Also podcasts, frankly. Not enough wrestlers have podcasts these days. Really though, I think Rey Mysterio having a knife collection is pretty sick. Like he's a knife enthusiast. I find that very charming. I think most of the human elements of Rey Mysterio have been washed away by like 30 plus years of mainstream wrestling exposure, much of that happening under the auspices of WWE. So finding out that Ray is very into knives is awesome. I think that Big Show's hobby of vaping all the time is great
Oh,
too.
he's so good at it.
He's excellent
I
at it.
remember going to a Comic-Con like 10, 12 years ago, Billy Gunn just sitting at a table, looking, you know, the size of a fucking pickup truck, just openly vaping in the middle of the con, like does not give up. He knows no one's going to say anything to him.
Yeah, you can't. What are you going to say to Billy Gunn?
Well, my favorite Big Show vaping thing was when he was vaping openly during like a WWE Hall of Fame ceremony.
Yeah, yep. That's the big one.
The photos of Big Show vaping is so good.
Ripping the fattest clouds you've ever seen.
I used to have a coworker at the post office who would do that inside the back of the post office, like not just like hiding away in a corner. He'd like walk up to the supervisor's desk to like do something and just like vape right there. And I just think like, imagine what life is like when you give that little of a shit.
Yeah. Oh, a serious answer. I think that the most charming thing about Vince Russo is that he's a record collector. Like I think that that's a fun hobby for someone like Vince Russo to have. Several of his live streams of him talking about his latest pickups, which I think he was posting during the pandemic, are still on YouTube, and he has the shittiest record collection. It's so fucking adorable.
He loves the Beatles.
Yeah, he loves the Beatles, but also he's picking up like Dan Fogelberg records. It's nuts. I would say that that's my favorite wrestler hobby, and since he's a former world champion, that he does count as a wrestler.
I interpreted this question a little different. I thought it was more about what wrestlers who we don't know what their hobbies were have interesting hobbies, and my answer to this was Lance Archer.
Doesn't he loves Christ, right? Like that's not a fun hobby.
That's well, that's yeah, but he also seemingly loves to pick up Jordans from the Nike factory outlet in San Marcos. I have many questions about that man.
I assumed his
Most
hobby was tramp stamps, if we're being honest.
that's
About Christ.
another good one. That's another good one.
Yeah, wrestlers don't have fun hobbies. Like all wrestlers used to be into like weightlifting, and now if they're not like, it's like I'm a Twitch streamer and I'm a
Yeah,
wrestler.
they're just all gamers.
Yeah, or they turn it into their gimmick or whatever.
I
Cody Rhodes
can
likes
respect
comic
it because
books.
if I was someone who was like in NXT or whatever, the last thing I would want is for someone to find out that I like something, because then it would just be parasocial weirdos tweeting at me like about the thing I like until I don't want to hear about it anymore.
Or Shawn Michaels will turn you into the gold dust of whatever you're into.
Well, that part would be cool.
The gold dust for Christ.
Yeah,
I think that's just gold dust.
I said, might just gold. You're right. Yeah, you're right. When you're right, you're right. Another question just for Colette. JCW or MLW? And that's the Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
I ride for JCW. I have not seen any current product. But I rock with Juggalo Championship Wrestling for sure. I tried to show my boyfriend the Stranglemania tape, and once I explained to him that their name for the headhunters being Ponderosa and Swedenhouse was like too derelict, like all you can eat buffets. He tapped out because he didn't like the fat jokes. But it's so good. Like JCW is the lifeblood of wrestling for old timers.
I'm trying to remember how many gay jokes were in Stranglemania because I feel like it's
We didn't make
in
it
the
to the
low
gay
triple
jokes,
digits.
which is a shame because that would have been an even better jumping off point. But the Mushroom Boys is as far as we made it. And yeah, I think that JCW has been better for wrestling overall than many give it credit for.
I think if you want to watch JCW Lunacy, if you have fond memories of 90s WCW, especially like
what years of the 90s?
Like when the wheels were starting to fall off, but not completely off yet. It's the kind of show where you can watch all the backstage skits and be entertained, and then go get up to make something to eat or something, and all you miss is a Caleb Conley match.
Oh, this sounds perfect.
Question for Colette. Any other wrestlers besides Andre the Giant you suspect of being genetic female?
Andreza the Giant Panda.
Okay.
Stan Hansen.
What about Ole, his partner?
Ole Anderson is I'm gonna say Ole's a chaser.
Okay.
He's a cis guy for sure.
Do you think that some billionaire wrestling pedophile would name their plane the Ole Express?
God.
This is our last question just for Colette. The last two we get to jump in on, guys. Q for the C from Andy here. What's your favorite Saw trap?
I have never seen a Saw movie.
Ooh, 2 hours and 15 minutes in. What a fucking bombshell.
I think
We
wait.
gotta start vetting these people.
Have I seen a Saw movie? I might have seen the first Saw movie. So I still can't answer.
Moving on. Cole,
Yeah,
question for the
sorry.
pod. What is your opinion on the 1997 movie The Game starring gay actor Michael Douglas? I personally think he's the right actor for the role. He can play smart, he can play cold, and he can play angry. He's also subtle enough that he never arrives at an emotional plateau before the film does, and never overplays the process of his interchange.
Is
That's
that
just
all
what
part of the question?
No, I added that's what Roger Ebert said about it, so I just wanted to talk about Ebert some more for you guys.
Cole, thank you for reminding me of gay actor Michael Douglas. That always brings a smile to my face.
And our last question, this is really important. Q for the P. Favorite tortilla chip accompaniment? Chris, what do you got?
The queso that is waiting for me outside. Sorry to
You
cut
have
off,
queso
Chris.
right now.
Yeah, my wife's got
I'm
queso.
gonna ask
sitting
some
for
more
me.
questions
I
after
can
this then.
smell it. I fucking hate you.
I like a mango or pineapple
We
salsa,
got a fucking fancy guy
That's
here.
good.
but not just like it's sickeningly sweet. There's some heat in there, like a habanero is in there, so it's still got some kick. I was like, that's not what I'm going to every time, but like that's my favorite.
That's your favorite? That's fair.
Oh, do I got some salsa headed to you on your birthday, little buddy?
Pat, what do you got?
I think the funniest answer is just to eat them plain.
That's a psycho answer.
God. Most disturbing thing he said yet.
I mean, my real answer is probably queso, but it's been said already. My favorite salsa's black bean and corn. So kind of basic.
Hummus
Colette?
is good with tortilla chips. Hummus.
What is? Oh, hummus. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. It's
Outside
great
the
with
box.
everything, but with tortilla chips, it accompanies the saltiness quite well.
That is it for Q&AR. Colette, are you busy next Thursday at 8:30? We're doing it again?
You want to turn this into like a when they've got 3 announce tables at ringside situation?
I want you to become a permanent 5th host, and we still have a guest on sometimes.
Oh
Make it
my
sick.
God.
Get some more questions
Cool.
going. No, thanks so much for coming on. Everyone, buy the zine. I'll have a link in the description. I guess just to the storefront because it's not up there yet.
Yeah,
Or
it'll be
maybe
up
it is.
soon.
Check it out.
It'll be up
Find out,
soon.
guys.
We'll see what's up.
someone has asked about it, so I feel like I might as well just at least like semi-plug it. Colette and I have started talking about doing a podcast together. I'm specifically focused on GWE cases. Basically, it would be Colette explaining to me things I don't know about wrestling, I assume.
Yeah. Also, it has.
Um,
I wanna be. It has no affiliation with GWE. I really have no idea what anyone is talking about with this. I just think that making a case for folks like Steve Mongo McMichael to my dear friend Orchid sounds like a good time.
I think that's a better contribution than what most people are bringing to the table, which I think is just pedantic yelling and insults.
I would like to
I'm
say,
So
hoping.
This is what
anyone
I've
who's
been
made it
trying
to
to
2
bring.
hours and 18 minutes of this podcast will definitely listen to you guys.
That's fair.
Like, they're
That
in.
is
So, like,
fair.
good job to plug it, because they're
Yeah.
in.
Let's plug this podcast that doesn't have a name yet all the way at the end of this episode. We'll get there someday.
Yeah, we'll
It
figure
kinda
it out. And I'm hoping that
lessens
we
the
can launch
pressure a
it.
little bit than see
Yeah.
if I had it up
does.
top, you guys have to really get to work on, like, Porik's new, what is it, Blown Out Asshole?
yeah, blown out asshole.
Okay, alright. Guys, everyone buy the zine, check out some Blown Out Assholes. Thanks.
We're gonna be talking about Brian
Perfect.
Knobs on the first one.